The details of the plan on paper for all to review. Then the expectation is the House will vote tomorrow night and send it over to the Senate ahead of Friday night's funding deadline.
President Trump, meantime, is waiting for the fine print.
We'll be looking for landmines because you could have that. You know, it's been known to happen before to people.
Another potential wrinkle in the timeline. There are 2 funerals some lawmakers plan to attend. One of NASA's most storied probes is declared dead.
In early 2004, NASA landed a pair of new vehicles, rovers, on the surface of Mars. The first, called Spirit, ended up getting stuck months into its mission and eventually lost power. Its twin, aptly named Opportunity, was only expected to operate for 3 months, yet it never drained its batteries completely. To NASA's surprise, the machine kept alive for years, traveling nearly 30 miles along the Martian surface. But dust storms last month prevented Opportunity's solar arrays from charging its battery and is now permanently powered down, not responding to commands. A top NASA scientist became emotional, calling the machine beloved.
Fox's Eben Brown. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Hi, this is Ray Gibson from The Morning Show on 93.3 The Point. And we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary this February. The Point is your news talk headquarters with top news, sports, weather, and traffic, and of course, always a little extra. We want to thank our listeners, fans, and followers for keeping us on our toes and joining us on this journey. The Ray Gibson Show Anniversary Celebration is brought to you by Take Care, Our Island, Your Health Plan.
A veteran of the U.S. Air Force is now wanted by the FBI, accused of spying for Iran.
Monica Witt, a former Air Force counterintelligence agent who defected to Iran 6 years ago, has been charged with assisting Iranian intelligence services in targeting her former fellow agents. The 39-year-old from Texas ended work with the Pentagon as a contractor in 2010 and is also accused of revealing details of a highly classified Defense Department program. FBI officials say Witt's primary motive was ideological.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. An arrest warrant's been issued, but Witt's believed to be out of the country. In Iran, an al-Qaeda-linked group is claiming responsibility for a suicide car bombing that attacked Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard. They attacked a bus carrying members of the Guard, killing at least 20 people, wounding 20 more. Sprint and T-Mobile, the 3rd and 4th largest wireless companies in the U.S., are defending their planned merger at a House hearing. The companies pledging not to hurt competition or consumers, some Democratic lawmakers challenging that. The deal still needs Justice Department and FCC approval. Much of California has a stormy Valentine's Day in store.
It snowed in the Northern California town of Redding. That's pretty uncommon. Flood warnings are in effect for other areas. A winter storm warning is up for parts of the Sierra Nevadas. National Weather Service meteorologist Eric Kurth says several feet of snow are possible.
The mountains are getting heavy snow right now, but eventually a lot of that's going to be turning over to rain. And then we're actually going to see a change back on Thursday where colder air is going to move in, and then those snow levels are going to come down.
Rain is expected to last through Thursday across areas of Southern California, and windy weather is forecast for the entire state. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street, a rally. The Dow's up 147. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Security Title is honored to sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. In 2019, we resolved to continue our mission of of protecting and ensuring the land and homes of our beautiful island. Additionally, we resolve to maintain our vital connection to our families and our community. Protehi Itanotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A 19-year-old son of Guam was found dead Sunday in his Army barracks at Camp Humphreys in South Korea. According to a report in Stars and Stripes, the circumstances surrounding the death of Private Clayton Cepeda are under investigation. Cepeda graduated from Simon Sanchez High School in 2018 and joined the military for his family to better their lives, according to his relatives. He will be remembered for his love of music and his kindness. Cepeda was a water purification specialist who joined the Army in June 2018 at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. He was assigned to a company 602nd Aviation Support Battalion, according to a release from the Army. Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Easley expressed condolences to the family and friends of Cepeda. Just last November, another Guam soldier, 28-year-old Sergeant Marcos Uggan, was also found dead at Camp Hovey outside Dongducheon, South Korea. The details surrounding his death have not been released by the Army. In district court yesterday, 58-year-old Gregorio Blas Cruz Jr. was given a reduced sentence of just 5 years, 8 months in prison after pleading guilty to possession of 306 grams of methamphetamine in 2 separate criminal cases. The Federal Probation Office asked the court for leniency because Cruz accepted responsibility for the crime and because of his extensive cooperation in a case that led to the seizure of nearly $2.3 million worth of meth. Cruz testified against Justin Cruz, who was sentenced to 35 years in prison for possession of 4.5 kilograms of methamphetamine. According to court documents, Justin Cruz sent drugs in packages in the mail and conspired with others to pick up the meth that he sold. Gregorio Cruz's attorney, Curtis Vandeveld, said that with credit for time served, his client will spend less than 3 years behind bars. We'll have more news after this.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The 31-year-old man arrested at the Guam International Airport last week on allegations of importing marijuana leaves and seeds was employed by the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Office of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. According to a report obtained by the Guam Daily Post, Brian Sears Nicholas Jr. is the grants manager and lead planner for the CNMI Homeland Security Office. The Office of CNMI Governor Ralph Torres and the CNMI Homeland Security Office did not respond to a request for comment. Nicholas arrived at the AB Wonpat International Airport on a United Airlines flight from Honolulu on February 5th Guam Customs were conducting drug interdiction efforts with a canine team in the baggage claim area when the drug detector dog went on alert as Nicholas approached. That led to an inspection of his baggage. Inside some of the bags, according to court documents, customs officers reportedly discovered green leafy substances concealed inside plastic containers, wrapped with dryer sheets, sealed inside resealable plastic bags, and placed inside hygiene bags. Nicholas was charged with importation of a controlled substance and possession of a controlled substance on board an aircraft. The Catholic Church on Guam has issued a statement in support of the ban on casino gambling at the annual Liberation Day Carnival. The statement from the Archdiocese of Agana yesterday calls the elimination of casino gambling from last year's carnival activities a step in the right direction, but the Archdiocese is urging authorities to go a step further and examine other forms of gambling on island, including the gaming machines. Gambling enterprises which entice patrons to spend their money at all times of the day and night into the early morning hours are especially harmful, said Archbishop Michael Burns. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
All right, are you ready? Teammate Mike? Weather team Mike?
I am always ready. I was born ready.
Partly cloudy today with isolated light showers. There's northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing a bit overnight. Daytime highs 87 degrees, and overnight lows cool 76 degrees. Sunset tonight should be about 6:25. And we're about, I don't know, a little over a half hour away from the sunrise at 6:44. Still a high risk of rip currents through Saturday afternoon along east-facing reefs. And watch those cigarette butts and what's left of your marijuana joints as you throw those out of the car.
No one throws those out, though.
You will if the cops are chasing you. I think that's
when you eat them.
I think that's what happened around 16. It's 6:12 in the morning. Let's take a look at what the radar imagery looks like.
Checking radar here. Yeah, it looks like that shear line's starting to move on in. So we'll expect a kind of an uptick in some of these isolated showers, but nothing huge. Just if you get some showers, you will be the lucky ones because of the drying that we were talking about just a moment ago. Hopefully some of those showers will get over the mountains down to the south, and I think that may be what's happening. The radar right now turned up on full blast, and so that's why we have these little things out to the northwest and southeast of the radar site. That's just a clutter in the radar thing. It could be birds, could be clouds, could be Virgo, could be nothing, could be just temperature
Is that
inversion.
what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of weird how the radar works that way.
Yeah, it was like gecko poop or something.
This could be that too. And Guam radar there, that satellite rather, you see Guam in the middle of the picture, more or less. You can see the shear line coming on down, and more of the shear line actually to the north, still coming through the northern part of the Mariana Islands. That will push on through, but it's going to do so. It's going to be really weak when it does. So no big deal other than just a reinforcement of the winds and things that we've been seeing for the past few days. If you look real closely, and of course to our radio listeners, it doesn't help much, but for the Facebook folks, right up at the top of this satellite picture, you can really see kind of a push from north to south of just little ripples of air coming on down from that high pressure system. And that's what brings us those nice trade winds this time of year. So that will continue right on through the weekend.
6:14, and so nice weather tonight for Valentine's?
Absolutely.
So if the people are going to be going out to some of the promontories or maybe sitting on the beach, counting stars, things like that, it's going to be a good night for
Perfect, yes.
In fact, I would suggest you bring a blanket.
Maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Because it was cold last night. I got a feeling it's going to be cold again at night, right?
It could be. Yeah, it's going to be. Well, yeah, our temperatures are going to maintain what they have been, and because the air is drier, it makes it feel cooler than it actually is. So it's really nice. It's going to be a good night to get out there and snuggle with your cutie.
Right on. It's 6:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches. They place roots.
Here at Make-A-Wish, our Wish kids wish for all kinds of things. A lot of them involve traveling to faraway places. On Monday, February 18th from 6 until 10, we'll be holding an airlines mileage drive with me, Ray Gibson, on 93.3 The Point, to help us grant these travel wishes. So if you've got spare airline miles, you can donate them without any transfer fees. Your donation will go a long way, and so will our Wish kids.
Cold Stone wants you to dream in pink. Pink strawberry ice cream, that is. That's the new cake. It features the ice cream, dreamy cheesecake bites, strawberry puree, and a moist red velvet cake. Now, this is a Valentine's Day cake, and it is Valentine's. You might be able to still get your hands on one of these. Reservations are limited. Get yours as you can. Dreamin' in Pink, new from Cold Stone Creamery. Super premium ice cream made fresh every day.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Right on. Portions of the program brought to you by my friends at American President Lines. APL is shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar in Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
On Facebook Live, didn't anybody go to UB40 last night? What are you doing awake so early? You should all be coming down off of the Heineken Light and Contact Buzz from being out with UB40 all night last night. We'll riff on that a little bit. Did you go? Yeah, look at that, Kevin. What did I go?
I would have liked to have gone, but
was there work?
There was work.
There was working going on. We'll talk about it. You got a couple of excellent stories in today's Guam Daily Post. I'll riff on a couple of those here in just a minute. Anyway, it's 6:17, and welcome to the post UB40 Valentine's Day version of the Ray Gibson Show here on 93.3 The Point. First thing, guys, first thing that you do this morning is just roll over and give the missus just a smooch, just nice, big, wet. I'll wait for you. Just a kiss. Just hey, just a kiss here. There's work, there's school, there's stuff. But happy Valentine's to one and all here. Valentine's Day 2019, and I hope there was enough of a run up for it. And I know that there are people that got things going on today, tonight, or whatever. And so here's to it. We'll toast with the coffee. Here's to everybody that had their pre-Valentine's last night, or maybe going to be celebrating Valentine's over the weekend. But as the old song goes, remember each day is Valentine's Day. And I didn't bring anything for the guys here in the studio because we're guys and we don't need to acknowledge Valentine's amongst ourselves, correct? You look disappointed.
You are correct, sir.
I was going to say you look disappointed. Now, you and Blake for about the last 20 minutes have been going on like schoolgirls about, I don't know, some kind of weird Texas sports thing.
Well, no, but there's been a lot of developments in sports just in the past 24 hours. Some big stories that we'll cover when we pretend to talk about sports later. Local story that's really cool. Regine Tugade set a record running, and we'll talk about that. We're hoping to maybe get her on and have her talk to us.
You think maybe we get
a
phone number?
We're going to try.
We might be able to scare her. I don't know her.
I
don't think I know Blake does.
Blake says he's really good friends with her. So
we'll see what happens. But yeah, some kind of a record broken. A Navy record was set by Regine Tugade, and obviously we're going to spend some time talking about that. Might be some other interesting topics that come up between here and there. 6:19 in the morning. Of course, Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. And as I tell you what, as interesting as some of the local stories are that we've got here, as interesting as some of those are, I think one of the more interesting stories is you're going to find on page 7, charges made public Tuesday in the District Court of Honolulu against a Federated States of Micronesia government official who allegedly received bribes from a contractor who sought to secure engineering and project management contracts from the government in the FSM. And you read this thing and you try to imagine if you were somebody and you were capable now of being the guy in someplace small where there's not a whole lot of people looking at you and looking for that kind of corruption. And this guy goes after this engineering firm and was, for all intents and purposes, just siphoning money from them kind of at will. Hey, listen, we're going on a trip here. How about you send me about $1,000?
And leaving an email trail.
Yeah, and left an email trail. There's some great stuff here. Engineering firm. Asking about what was it that they wanted to do on November 15th. Halpert sent an email requesting that the engineering company book and pay for a hotel room for him and members of his family so they could come to Guam. And the engineering company executive responded that at this time the engineering company was approving only project reimbursement travel requests. That was on the 15th. On the 16th, the guy emails 3 of the company's employees saying, I'm closing your office down tomorrow until further notice because I have the power. And at some point, it looks like the engineering firm kind of got tired of all of these crazy requests. Wanted a truck. Can you get me a truck here? I want a Chevy Silverado. Please get this truck. It is my cash, so when I need to pay back anyone, I can sell it, or this will be my ride forever. If you can, lift it 6 inches and put on black rims because I'm the man. This is a great story. Is the Guam connection? Is the Guam connection only because he wanted to fly to Guam with his family? Is that?
Well, they have an office here, but we don't know how deep the connection is here.
You think maybe there might be some connections? Are they looking into that?
That is interesting, isn't it?
But aviation guy, right? If there were connections, it'd be between him and maybe somebody at the airport or firms working with the airport. Is the firm in question doing business with Guam?
They have an office.
They've got an office here? Yeah. Wonder who they're working with. What an interesting story. It's in the local section, what did I say, page 7 of today's Guam Daily Post. And then there's a few other things that are really, really interesting. 622. Let me take care of this, and then I'll show you what has been just hammering the WhatsApp feed. WhatsApp, by the way, is 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Who's playing around in Facebook Live now?
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
And as usual, Ismael is there, Estaki, Albert Eliason, and Nick Perlowski with the good morning. Hoik, Edita Camarillo. Oh, I'm sorry, I heard the music playing in the background still. Happy morning and happy Valentine's Day, says Edita. Tony and Annette and Pinko. Ada is there with their Valentine's wish for us. That's nice. Happy Friday Eve to all the lovers and lonely people. Yeah, I missed that with the conversation UB40 and Valentine's. I forgot to remind you that it's Thursday. Let's go and have some Thursday happiness, why don't we? Juanita Machi with her Valentine's eyes. And Arlene Collins is fresh from the run and getting ready for work this morning. John St. Nicholas, Arlene, incidentally, also lined up for the not the Guam International Marathon, but the Hoffa Marathon that's going to be taking place this weekend. Just a note, if you're going to be on the road between, say, Jigo, Anderson Air Force Base, and Jigo, and it's going to go all the way down to Ipao Beach. There is a little spur that goes into Two Lovers Point, but for the most part, you watch out for runners as they're going to be making their way southbound. Marine Corps Drive. John St. Nicholas says, have a great Thursday Fry all. Mary Parka with an E at the end of her name. Jane Sasai's got all kinds of Valentine's emojis going on. Bill Chucko and Jerry Menabusin and Heather Perez are on. Miriam Rupli, Amanda Shelton. There's Karina Valera, Rod Rose Greeno. Rose, congratulations on the new gig over at Take Care. Call me and tell me all about it. Rico Blancaflor is there. Good morning, The Point and Guan. I see Ron of Zehi and Nita Mofnis. And, of course, she's got Valentine's eyes, but she's got Valentine's next to her Valentine's eyes. She's like using Valentine's to quote her Valentine's eyes. Carl T.C. Gutierrez, Valentine, Valentine's eye, Valentine, Valentine's eye. Getting creative with the emojis there, Gov. Understand a couple of guys from the Guam Daily Post found you yesterday. I wanted to get your comments and some recollections about your role in this YTK case that's coming up. Is that how cool this case is going to get? We're going to reach all the way back to the Gutierrez administration on this and the current YTK flap. and see if we can dredge something up from there. Manan, so this Ramon. Okay, Ron. Ken LG is there. That's the other Governor Leon Guerrero, Linda Gabriel, and Pete Guerrero. Linda says that she's having us with her coffee this morning. That's nice. Tony D'Angelo. And Tony and I are going to talk on the radio one of these days, because if this is the same guy I'm thinking it is, he's got a permit. He's one of the 73 or so people that has a permit to raise in his own house, in the comfort of his own living room, raise his own marijuana to smoke to make him feel better about whatever it is that he's got. So I want to talk to him to see what he's up to, what's his process, and what kind of what are some of the other goodies that people that might want to do this need to know. There's Gus Jasangas is playing. Lisa Santiago. Good morning, Lisa. Nice to see you there. No gym today? Mingo Ree, Rochelle Perrault Stewart, and Rochelle and I have known each other for a long, long time. Used to work long ago at Hit Radio 100. Nice to see your name out there and saying hello to us in the morning. It's 6:26. Home Depot's not open yet. Clay, you got to find something else to do.
I'm making my pilgrimage to Home Depot.
What are you in store for today? What are you looking at?
I gotta get paint and hot mud and floor jacks. So here's an oblique connection to the Lyons story. Remember the story lady?
Yeah.
Betty Lyons?
Yes.
She was married to Mr. Lyons, who had the engineering firm, Lyons Engineering, whose son is now, in trouble. Anyway, I don't think that was her son, but anyway, that's kind of an oblique connection. And
from the side,
it's like it's like a Trumpian type of reality show. Is like, who would be so stupid to put all of that? I mean, the guy, due diligence aside, and due process aside. I mean, anybody who would put all that stuff in writing shouldn't be in charge of anything important. Don't let this guy. I wouldn't put him in charge of opening and closing gates. Yeah, I mean, So I read that story this morning, and I thought, what a circus, But anyway, that's the oblique connection to Guam. They did Lion Engineering. They did a lot of stuff out of here in Guam, but I'm sure the old man was a little more ethical. Yeah, we'll watch this case and see where it ends up here. But they apparently run up against the right guy until the right guy was probably just a little bit excessive with his ask. And at the end of it, it looks like he wanted to be on the actual payroll of the company so that he could receive a regular stipend from these guys. Somebody else wants a girlfriend named Bubba. Exactly. Yeah. It's going to come down to that. Hey, while we're talking about Home Depot, just a quick question. The last time I was in the parking lot, there were just a ton of containers, and so I'm asking, have they brought in any new stuff? Am I missing any new technology, hardware, homeware? Is it what am I not getting? Their shelves are pretty full. They have a real nice array of Valentine's stuff, orchids, and little baskets with pears, and they got flowers, and actually their prices are very competitive. So Home Depot, I mean, they get into Pampers, and those guys are on the ball. But here's something. I have a vendetta going on here, and I told them I'm going to go out there with a sign. They sell, this Bear paint and the Glidden brand. Yeah. And they have one 5-gallon paint mixer. Oh. That works. Okay? Oh. And I went in there the other day to get 10 pails. That's 10 pails is a lot of paint. Yeah, and the guy was mixing 40 pails for Cortex. I said, well, I'm not standing in line for this. And I said, what the hell is with your paint mixer? I mean, come on, you've got 2 of them that have been out for years that they hadn't fixed, and they got one. I said, what happens when that goes out? Are you going to mix it by hand? And the guy was frustrated, and I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a complaint to Home Depot, and I did, and I made a copy here to the guys, and then I sent a complaint. I sent a copy of it to Bear, which is, they sell a lot of Bear paint. And I haven't gotten any, specific response from either Home Depot or Bear. But I'm gonna keep it up because It's ridiculous.
Well, you're right. What's going to happen when it goes out? I don't know. I've had my frustration with someone. Not all the paint counters on Guam, but you remember there was this technology that they'd come out with where you could take a picture or swatch or something like that, and they would do a color match and then give you that color paint.
Well, I do that. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing this morning. When
their machine works. So the machine at Home Depot works.
It works. I mean, I've never had a color match that didn't exactly match the color.
Yeah. But I mean, you can get close.
But if I can't, if I got to stand in line, I mean, I'm going to need like 40 or 50 pails of paint. But I'm not going to stand around waiting for them to mix 40 pails of paint.
Wait a second. What did you think between you and Cortec you'd be able to buy your own mixers? Hey, dude, I gotta run. Good luck with Home Depot. They're a good shop. They'll take care of you.
Have a good day. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, buddy. Happy Valentine's to you as well. There's Pam's sweetheart Clayton on the radio. 6:31 in the morning. Lots more to talk about. Is that going to be our big controversy this morning? What's going to happen when all of the 5-gallon paint mixers go south on Guam? Forget the H2. We're not going the H2B labor problem. We're not going to be able to mix paint. It's 6:31 and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Poster's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Guam police have released few details about a two-car collision yesterday afternoon that created bumper-to-bumper traffic along Route 16 Army Drive from the Department of Rev and Tax all the way to the Barragata Post Office. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau said there were no injuries in that accident. However, a video making its way through social media shows a line of cars that stretched nearly 2 miles. Another video circulating on social media shows police apprehending a man wearing a safety vest standing near a white truck. The truck was still parked along Route 16 last evening. Police have not said whether the truck in the video is related to the accident. For the integrity of the case, Guam Police Department will not disclose any information at this time because it may be detrimental to the investigation, said Sergeant Tapau. The Leon Guerrero administration has submitted to the legislature the names of 2 nominees to sit on the board of the Port Authority of Guam. They are Anthony Chargaloff Jr. and Issa Marie Kokai. Their names were submitted to Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes' office last Friday. Chargaloff has been tapped to fill the unexpired term of former Port Board member Melanie Mendiola, who is now acting administrator of the Guam Economic Development Authority. Kokai has been nominated to a 3-year term from the date of her confirmation. The 2 appointments, if confirmed, will round out the 5-member Port Board, which would include Chairman Frank Santos and members Nathan Timinglo, Maria Taitno, Kokai, and Chargaloff. Janela Carrera, the administration's communications director, said Kokai will replace board vice chairman Oscar Calvo, whose term expired on December 31st. Board members, however, whose terms expire can continue to serve for 90 days until replaced. During Tuesday's Port Board meeting, Calvo was one of the outspoken critics of General Manager Rory Respicio's plan to begin mediation in the Guam YTK case. Taitno also was critical of the proposal. Her term does not expire until next year. The governor's office yesterday announcing it is aware of fake Facebook accounts claiming to be those of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. The fake accounts have been reported to the Guam Homeland Security Advisor, the government's Office of Technology, and Facebook for investigation. Neither Leon Guerrero nor Tenorio currently have an official Facebook page, according to a release from the governor's office. If you receive a friend request or message from someone on Facebook claiming to be the governor or lieutenant governor, report them to Facebook and the Office of the Attorney General Consumer Protection Division. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Good plan. It's 6:34. That's iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about great plans for 2019. We got push to talk, we got mobile, we got internet at iConnect.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get some traffic going. I was not in that mess that was Route 16 yesterday, but I've heard from a lot of people that were, and for many of them, front row seats to the takedown. Did you get the video on that? I'll show you in a couple of minutes here. But first, let me take a look at what the traffic gizmo is talking about right now. Okay, heading into Anderson Air Force Base at 6:35. You might have to wait a little bit to get through that. Southbound, northbound, the rest of Marine Corps Drive, all the way into Dededo, all the way into Upper Tumon is green. So looking good right now. Don't see any traffic building up at 8, 10, and 16. Nothing in Mangilau. Nothing on Route 4. Might be a little bit coming down the hill from Sinahanya into in the downtown area, but I think it's just a lot of cars. I don't see anybody slowing down. Don't see anything in front of Big Navy or Navy Hospital, so it's clear to go at 6:36.
Laddie Stone Entertainment and the stations of Choice Broadcasting invite you to a sexy sleepwear soiree. Join us on Friday, February 15th at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Doors open at 7 and $15 get you your first drink and some poo-poos. It's a sexy sleepwear soiree, so come dressed in your PJs or your lingerie and party with the 2019 Miss and Mrs. Kirby contestants with a lingerie fashion show and cash prizes for the cutest, the sexiest, and the best couple. It's the Miss and Mrs. Kirby Pageant Sexy Sleepwear Soiree with Pipple Empire, local promos, One Punch Media, Sidelines Bar and Grill, Island Lux, The Hive, and Figure 8.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I love that guitar on that scratch. I see Katie Baltazar wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. This is nice. Jordine Nicole Titano is writing in on Facebook this morning. Half a day and happy birthday to Jasmine Piscina, also known as Pozzada. I'm not entirely sure if that really that's the nickname. That's Jasmine's nickname is Pozzada. All right, if you don't know why that's funny, find a brown person from here and ask them why. Lee Stolley is online there as Annette Tovis. Debbie Burgess, nice to see you there. Vicky Cordova, Rochelle, and Mingo, and all kinds of other friends that are chiming in this morning, watching along on Facebook Live, wondering where is he going to take the program now? Where is Ray going to take the program? Well, I was talking a little bit about Route 16 yesterday, and that was a mess. While everybody was on Route 16 getting in the middle of that mess, I was at a mountaintop doing something else. And by the time I got finished, I look at my phone, and on the phone is all kinds of pictures. The scene just blowing up my WhatsApp. One of them is a video, and Mike, I think in the first part of this video, there might be some interesting language. So just go ahead and leave the thing down. But you can see somebody shot this out the windshield of their car. There is a police officer, and he's got the gun out and high. And it is pointed at a fella in a red vest. And leaning against the pickup truck. You can't make out the instructions, but this police officer, pretty obviously very, very clear in his instructions. Another one. That's 3 police officers on their way in to collar this guy and to take him down. But can you imagine how interesting that must have been to the people that they're stuck in traffic? There was an accident there earlier. I don't know if the police were involved in the accident or whether that was part of it, but it was bumper to bumper through there. So there's a whole lot of people that got a real-life windshield version of the Cops television show.
What did he do? What was in that truck?
Well, there's another picture, Kevin. Thanks for asking. That was all over my WhatsApp that came out yesterday, and it's this. It's jars. Looks like jars of baby food. Little mason jars.
Green leafy substances.
Some kind of green leafy substance in there. And they've got names. There's Moby, and there's a couple of other names that I can't make out because they're written sideways. And it looks like there's a whole bunch of this stuff. And we don't know too much about this case at all. As of 6:25 yesterday, the police department was mum on everything. What's that?
For the integrity of the case, Guam police will not disclose any information at this time.
Yeah, well, apparently somebody that didn't care about that and took a picture of the evidence and sent it to everybody. This thing, if you didn't get this on your WhatsApp, you're not running in the right circles here this morning. That's just all there is to it. I haven't done the count of it. I might want to do some of that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 20 jars. 20 jars of marijuana. That's got to have a street value of I don't know who's buying. Anybody want to venture a guess as to what the street value of that merchandise is going to end up being? Anybody?
That would be 5 figures easily.
5 figures?
Yes. Right there.
Okay.
At the rate it's going on the streets around here these days. Yeah.
So just a reminder again, kids. Just because we have medicinal marijuana, and then now 73 people. My understanding is there's 73 people that have signed up to be able to purchase or not purchase, but grow their own marijuana for their own consumption for whatever maladies they have. And Clint Rigel is now in the very beginning stages of a conversation that could make marijuana legal recreationally here on Guam. It's not yet. We are not yet recreational marijuana ready here. Nothing has been decriminalized. Nothing has been legalized. Nothing has been sanctioned by the legislature and the governor that would provide for running around in a pickup truck with 20 mason jars filled with a green leafy substance. I'm looking at this. I'm pretty sure it's not kale. I'm pretty sure it's not some interesting flavor variant of iceberg lettuce. You just don't take that kind of care with that kind of thing. So it's very interesting that happened, and so there's this guy. This is going to be interesting, right? Yeah, Carl saying the driver knew he messed up immediately. Can you imagine? There's more to this, though. There's more to this. I mean, was he speeding? Did he have a busted tail light? Was his registration expired? Why was he pulled over? And at what point? Because again, let me show you the video that is attached to this. The video that is attached to this story shows 3 police officers that are on the side of the road, and they have got weapons out. This is not a standard pullover for 3 police officers to feel that they are being threatened or that this person is a threat to everybody around him and come out weapons hot. There must have been something else going on, and so we'll see what the heck is going on. Did he come out of the side road? Is that what it is? Was there a chase? I don't know. I don't know. And it's don't want to I don't want to get in the middle of the investigation, but I'm curious. So if you're guys in the police department, if you want to tell you what, let me do it this way. If you want to, we've got a private protected method for you to pipeline information to us here at the radio station. It is our WhatsApp. And I think the only way that anybody could get a hold of any of the information that shows up in our WhatsApp here is to come at me with a court order. And my lawyer can beat up anybody's lawyer on Guam. 988-5874. That's 988-5874. If you know what's going on, if you think you got an idea, then give me a ring. Carl says it's either he burglarized a grow house and the owner called the cops on his own house. There were a couple of other WhatsApps floating around. I hadn't made that connection. There was I know that there were a couple of break-ins that took place, and I'm wondering now, thinking about it, I wonder if one of those break-ins took place at somebody's house where they might have been growing some of their own stuff. For medicinal purposes, right? Yeah. Well, as I said, there's a whole lot of let's wait and see on this. But there's this jughead, and he's going to go to jail for all kinds of charges, up to and including ticking off the police. You're not allowed to tick off the police. They're out there minding their own business, looking for, and then now somebody's got a dent in the car. And the cops so ticked off that they're coming out with their weapons hot. My guess is there's an additional charge for that. At any rate, So this guy's going to be, he's going to get in trouble. He's going to go all in and for all day, which in maybe a year and a half for being in possession of something that in a year and a half might actually be legal around here. So it's just a note to the drug thugheads, jugheads that might be listening. Just cool your jets, guys. Just, you know what, show up. There's going to be a public hearing. Go show up in a testimony. This will get some of the girls all weepy-eyed over at the legislature. You come in and say, you know, I've been a drug dealer for a long, long time since I was a kid, and if we legalize recreational marijuana, this will give me an opportunity to go straight. I want to go straight. I want to change my life. I want to be a part of legitimate society. I don't want my kids to be embarrassed because their daddy's a dope dealer. Right? And I can just see some of the girls over at the legislature just get up. That is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. You want to go straight? You want to change your life? You want to turn over a new leaf? You know, and Democrats love to say this, if we can save just one life, just one, it'll be worth it. So actually, you know what? You could start writing that right now. You could start writing that testimony right now, because when they have the public hearing, that'd be a great place to try it out.
That's our own version of the new Green Deal.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm extra frisky again this morning. My buddy Tom Tomasiak, I mentioned this yesterday, hit me with some new coffee grounds that. There's caffeine in this. I tell you what, right now, this wake you up in the morning and put you in a terrific mood. All right, I've got a table of contents and prepared a list of stuff that we might want to talk about today. Some things that might be interesting on this Valentine's morning, and among them, like I said, is the continuing conversation about YTK over at the port. Yes, it is interesting, isn't it? We've got this case that comes to us from beyond the grave. It's been a long time, and there's in the article it refers to the article in the Guam Daily Post. Their story and follow up on the YTK saga refers to a fella. Kamiyama is the guy's name. Yeah, Tom Kamiyama. I lived next door to Tom Kamiyama. And knew what he wanted to be doing around here, and he had some interesting ideas with what they might be able to do with tuna transshipment over at the hotel wharf. Now, and you got to remember, around this time, late '80s, '90s, 2000s, there was a big tuna business here on Guam. And I don't remember enough of why it went away. There was one family, in fact, the Zwaniches, one of them was online watching the program yesterday on Facebook Live, and her husband had come out here with a fleet of tuna boats and helicopters and things like that, and so there was an active tuna industry here on Guam, and I don't remember why it went south. Do you?
The tuna went away.
They just
the migration patterns
changed
went
completely?
farther south. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
And that, according to Kin Paris, who wrote us a letter yesterday and reminded us of that.
Yeah. And so there was for a time some very, very active tuna business here on Guam, and it took off. And it would have been interesting if you had some place where the tuna could come in, and then you've got a facility to process it, ship it, get it out to people that can can it, cook it, and then can it. And other places maybe that for the larger fish, quickly send them up to Japan, where they still fetch pretty high and top dollar here. But they wanted to do some business and wanted a longer term lease, and even Tom Adda, who's quoted in this article, will tell you there are a number of businesses that are not going to be interested in setting up their investment if they've got to come back every 5 years and do it. You know, if our investment's only going to be, if our lease is only going to be good for 5 years, for some of the industry that we need to set up, it's going to take a lot longer than 5 years to be able to recover our dough. So the guys went to the governor and said, will you approve a 45-year lease? And the governor says, I would support a 45-year lease, but with legislative approval. That legislative approval never occurred, and therefore the port and Carl and Tom believe that that is a dead lease. And that's why the port has taken it to court. And now, there was arbitration. The arbitration guys found other than that, and said that, no, we disagree. And now the port owes YTK, the new YTK Corporation, all of these millions and millions of dollars, $14 million, and the clock is running on interest. And so Rory decides, maybe I ought to reach out to Champ and see if Champ might be interested in mediating. Again, some kind of mediation, and we can get the clock stopped. And then that's where you run into this point of disagreement. There are a couple of guys over at the port board, Oscar Calvo, Maria Taitano, who say, well, you know what? We shouldn't have heard about this from the media. Our first note that you were talking to Champ Calvo shouldn't have come at the end of an inquiry from Kevin Kerrigan at the Guam Daily Post, or part of a conversation that Ray Gibson was having on The Point. It should have actually come from you in the form of formal communications with us. So, but I think once they get over that butthurt over not being told first, is it possible then that this port board might, after some kind of review, ride along with Roy Respicio on this? And that's where we don't know. Now, we're talking with Ken Leon Guerrero yesterday, who was in the meeting, inferred that the decision to reach out to Champ Calvo was a decision that was shared between Rory and Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. I've yet to confirm that. We'll see what we can find out here this morning. 10 away from the top of the hour, 888-8255-888-TALK. And you might recall, as we were talking about the smugglers. I'm trying to do that like Don Henley in the song. Smugglers Blues, right? I was talking about the guy that got busted at the Guam International Airport, and he tried to do all of the things that they tell you to do in the movies to try to throw the drug-sniffing dog off of its tracks. We're going to take my marijuana, I'm going to wrap it in dryer sheets, and we'll put some coffee in there and Vicks Vapor Rub or something like that, and we're just gonna smother it with all kinds of stuff, and the dog will never be able to smell it. And so the guy's waiting for his baggage to come in over at the airport, and here comes the drug-sniffing dog, and apparently had absolutely no problem being able to point out that this guy had marijuana on his person. And so an investigation ensues, and so here comes the guy now, and he's busted for trying to smuggle marijuana into the island. There's a follow-up to this story. The guy actually worked for Homeland Security up in the CNMI. The guy had a job. So you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder about some of the hiring practices, maybe a little bit of the testing. That we bring in people. You bring in people that are capable of that kind of sinister intent. There used to be a test that you could take before you got hired for a job. Anyway, so I think it's interesting that you get somebody that should be aware, should be on the same side as the good guys, smuggling dope into the airport. And as soon as I saw the story, it took me back. It reminded me of the other case involving the loss prevention officers at Kmart, right? What was their take? $100,000? $70,000. What was it? It was closer to $70,000. Can I embellish? I'm rounding up. I'm going to round up from $70,000 up all the way up to $100,000. But these guys, loss prevention officers, and they figured out how to game the gift card system so that they could rip Kmart off to the tune of about $70,000. These are loss prevention people. So there's a lesson here. For the managers and the movers and the shakers and the headline makers around here. The lesson here is that if you've got somebody in loss prevention, if you've got somebody that is like an in-house auditor, if you've got somebody that is is the person that you trust with the money, with the merchandise, with all of our features and benefits and added value, and like the guy out in the FSM, right? His job is to make sure he gets the best value for the airport and for the people of the FSM. And he turned his back on that role completely and found a way to enrich himself. So again, the point here, bosses, if you're listening to the program, and maybe Jerry Roberts ought to do a riff on this one of these days, is if you got people that are supposed to be in charge of your loss prevention, but you still feel there's some kind of loss, there's still some tingling spidey sense in you that's keeping you awake at night, my suggestion is that you do an audit on the auditors and see what happens there. My buddy Joe Leasealong is online. Joe Bloss, Ken LG chiming in on the YTK thing. But first, tuna processing plants started closing around the Pacific back in the 90s, which should have been a warning sign if anyone at the port had done some basic research, which is a point that has been made in the article that I believe Ken Paris had made in some kind of communications, that by that time things were already heading south, and a 45-year lease was a dream in the very least. Guam YTK, the poster child why Gov Guam should never mediate in the future. Now, well, there's an interesting point that former Senator Adam makes about how the courts seem to be extremely protective of mediation. And when that happens, we'll be hesitant, I suppose, to go in and overrule and override. But you know, this is one of those wait and see things. This is the part of the job. I'll tell you right now, this is the part of the job that I hate, where we look at something and everybody knows what's going on, everybody can see what's happening, but we got to wait for somebody else to come to some kind of conclusion. We got to wait for the judges to decide, or we're going to have to wait for the port board to make a decision, or we're going to have to wait until I don't know, Francis over at the port demands Rory's resignation as per Ken Leon Guerrero. And I thought that was an interesting response from Rory as well. Thank you for your communication. I appreciate your communication. 6:55 in the morning. 888-255-888-TALK. And what else are we going to be playing around with here this morning? Who's your friend on Facebook? Who's your friend on Facebook? You got pals? You one of those people? Well, that's good. I will from time to day, you go through Facebook, and they do a thing on Facebook is like people you should know, or something like that. And there's pictures of friends of yours on Facebook, and they go, well, if you're friends with Michael, then you ought to be friends with Michael's friends. Never mind the fact that these might be Michael's friends from Texas that I've never heard of, wouldn't know me from Adam, right? But still in all, you know, if Mike's got a hot friend, I might press that button. I might go ahead and add that friend. Just, you know, we'll just see what happens.
I'm not allowed to have hot friends.
No,
I'm
you're
married.
I probably should have looked over. And there's Kevin and all of Kevin's friends. But anyway, so that's one of those things. Well, you might see in a couple of these, you might see one of them that is Lou Leon Guerrero. But my understanding is that that's not a real Lou Leon Guerrero account. There might be one floating around that is Lou and Josh, and it is not a throwback to when they were marketing themselves on Facebook back in the political times. So just FYI, you know, just make sure when you click on it, then that's always good sense. The next time that you click on something on Facebook, just double check and make sure that it is somebody that you know. I've got all kinds of messages coming in on mine, and I probably ought to do this as kind of a public service every once in a while. But I've got a number of message requests from people, Facebook users, and they're all people that with names that I know, that all ask me the same question, literally the same question: how are you doing? And I've talked about this. One of them at one point was Tony Babauta. And so let me give you this piece of advice as well. If you get a message request from somebody that you know, especially if it's somebody from around here that says, how are you doing? Then there's a pretty good chance that your friend has been hacked one way or the other. Because if it was me, anybody that I know that was sending me a message, it would be, you know, hey, blank hole, what's up? Or something along those lines. It'd be a lot less formal than, how are you? Just saying. 6:58 in the morning, 888-255-888-TALK. That just scratches the surface of some of the stuff that we're going to get a chance to talk about today. Wanted to see if maybe there's some conversation about Guma Tranquilidad. That's something that's got a lot of people rankled around here. Ray Tapazna, who is now the guy over at Guam Housing, is looking around at Guam Housing or Gura? He's over at Gura, and he's got a lot of people rankled because he's looking at this real sexy property down in Tumon at Guma Tranquilidad, and saying, well, there's 48 people there. We got 4,000 people that would like some place to live, and wondering if there might be a way to lever that property there so that, you know, very, very valuable property down in Tumon, to be able to lever that property and use the proceeds from that somewhere else. We'll see what happens. 7 o'clock in the morning, and I've been challenged to say this last name, Joanne Oppo. Wait a second, it went away just a second ago. Am I going to have time to find the place? Yes, it is. Joanna Opolentissima. Opolentissima. I'll get it right. She works over at the Sandcastle. You can see her picture on page 23 of today's Guam Daily Post. In the meantime, I got to break away because I got news coming to. Our news package here is awesome. Fox News Live, followed by Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. We'll take a look at what's happening in the market. Jerry Roberts got Extra Point. That's all ahead right here on 93.3 The Point, KUSG, Agana.
The clock keeps ticking. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A tentative deal to avoid another government shutdown, not ready quite yet. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
Well, the House and Senate could both take up the spending bill tomorrow, though negotiators are still finalizing the legislative text. The agreement reached would fully fund the government to the fiscal year and provide $1.37 billion for border barriers, far less than President Trump had requested.
Neither side got everything it wanted in this bill, but both sides want to avoid another shutdown. Democrats, Republicans, House, Senate.
The Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is urging the president's support. So far, the White House says it's withholding judgment until it has reviewed the final product. Lisa.
Or Jared, as the president put it, he says he'll be looking for landmines when he sees the finished proposal. The head of FEMA just announcing he is resigning. Brock Long calls it the honor of a lifetime to have served as FEMA administrator at the helm during more than 200 declared disasters over the past 2 years. But he says it's time to head home to his wife and sons. Long says Deputy Administrator Peter Gaynor will serve as acting FEMA chief. Tomorrow marks 1 year since the deadly shooting at a Florida high school. The state's new governor just holding a news conference. Fox's Evan Brown live in Miami.
Lisa, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is ordering grand jury to investigate how Florida school districts implement campus security. He says it will conduct a long investigation tasked with providing a clear picture of the state of school safety.
This statewide grand jury will have full-bore subpoena power. They will be able to compel witnesses. They will be able to compel documents.
Now, the governor, speaking in Broward County on the eve of the year mark of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, says the grand jury will not focus entirely on Broward County either, Lisa.
Thanks, Evan. Back-to-back rallies on Wall Street. The Dow up 113 at the bell. This is Fox News.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
Laddystone Entertainment and the stations of Choice Broadcasting invite you to a sexy sleepwear soiree. Join us on Friday, February 15th at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Doors open at 7 and $15 get you your first drink and some poo-poos. It's a sexy sleepwear soiree, so come dressed in your PJs or your lingerie and party with the 2019 Miss and Mrs. Kirby contestants with a lingerie fashion show and cash prizes for the cutest, the sexiest, and the best couple. It's the Miss and Mrs. Kirby pageant sexy sleepwear soiree with Pipple Empire, local promos, One Punch Media, Sidelines Bar and Grill, Island Lux, The Hive, and Figure 8.
Top U.S. Army commanders are vowing action after horror stories about military housing, including black mold, rats, even mice eating through infants' pacifiers in their cribs. Detailed at a Senate hearing today.
The testimonies we've heard today are heartbreaking in terms of the impact on the health of the families and children of the nation's 1.2 million service members and represents a major readiness issue. 3 of the thousands or so military families who have complained about poor housing conditions testified before the Senate Armed Forces Subcommittee moments ago. They blame birth defects and disease on the slum-like conditions.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. The Army Secretary and Chief of Staff just releasing a joint statement saying they are deeply troubled by the reports, calling it unacceptable, and pledging to hold chain of command and private contractors accountable. Police in New York City still investigating the friendly fire death that happened during an attempted robbery.
It's the worst feelings you can have. It's the worst thing that we ever go through as a police department.
Through that emotion, Chief of Department Terrence Monahan says there are still many facts to find about the circumstances of Detective Brian Simonson's death.
We don't know at this point who shot who at this point. We know there's a lot of shots. It was a chaotic scene.
Investigator Kevin Maloney says they do know Christopher Ransom's action prompted the shots from inside the T-Mobile store.
He holds up his hand with the firearm in his hand, and he simulates that he's firing at the officers.
Surveillance and body cam footage are being reviewed to pinpoint what happened. In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
So recapping the rally on Wall Street, again, the Dow up more than 100 points, up 118 as the numbers continue to settle. Hope for progress in trade talks with China getting part of the credit. The S&P and the NASDAQ also finishing higher. And Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill, pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
Here at Make-A-Wish, our Wish kids wish for all kinds of things. A lot of them involve traveling to faraway places. On Monday, February 18th from 6 until 10, we'll be holding an airlines mileage drive with me, Ray Gibson, on 93.3 The Point, to help us grant these travel wishes. So if you've got spare airline miles, you can donate them without any transfer fees. Your donation will go a long way, and so will our Wish kids.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A 19-year-old son of Guam was found dead Sunday in his Army barracks at Camp Humphreys in South Korea. According to a report in Stars and Stripes, the circumstances surrounding the death of Private Clayton Cepeda are under investigation. Cepeda graduated from Simon Sanchez High School in 2018 and joined the Army. He was a water purification specialist assigned to the 602nd Aviation Support Battalion in Honolulu, according to a release from the Army. Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Easley expressed condolences to the family and friends of Cepeda. Just last November, another Guam soldier, 28-year-old Sergeant Marcos Ugin, was found dead at Camp Hovey outside Dongducheon, South Korea. The details surrounding his death have not yet been released by the Army. In district court yesterday, 50-year-old Gregorio Blas Cruz Jr. was given a reduced sentence of just 5 years, 8 months in prison after pleading guilty to possession of 306 grams of methamphetamine in 2 separate criminal cases. The Federal Probation Office asked the court for leniency because Cruz accepted responsibility for the crime and because of his extensive cooperation in a case that led to the seizure of nearly $2.3 million worth of methamphetamine. Cruz testified against Justin Cruz, who was sentenced to 35 years in prison for possession of 4.5 kilograms of meth. According to court documents, Justin Cruz sent drugs in packages in the mail to Guam and conspired with others to pick up the meth that he sold. Gregorio Cruz's attorney, Curtis Vandeveld, said with credit for time served, his client will spend less than 3 years behind bars. We'll have more news after this.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
News time here at The Point is 10 minutes past 7 a.m. In district court yesterday, Sasha Sun was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison by Chief District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood. Sun pleaded guilty in October 2017 to unlawfully harboring and employing Taiwanese women who entered Guam on tourist visas. According to court documents, Sun employed 3 women from Taiwan who were permitted to enter the U.S. as tourists for 45 days only under the visa waiver program. They were not permitted to work. But Sun admitted to employing the women at her nightclub, the Joy Luck Club, and splitting the sales proceeds of drinks with them. At the sentencing hearing yesterday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Rosetta San Nicolas told the court, "It is important that this type of behavior is deterred." Sun told the court that she was sorry and asked for another chance. Judge Tydenko Gatewood said that while the defense had asked the court to consider a leniency, the defendant had an identical charge back in 2010. "It is disappointing to me. She should have learned," said Judge Tydenko Gatewood. The court ordered her to self-surrender on March 6 at the U.S. Marshal's office. Guam police have released few details about a 2-car collision yesterday afternoon that created bumper-to-bumper traffic along Route 16 Army Drive from the Department of Rev and Tax all the way down to the Barragata Main Post Office. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau said there were no injuries in that collision. A video making its way through social media shows a line of cars that stretch nearly 2 miles. Another video circulating on social media shows police apprehending a man wearing a safety vest standing near a white truck. The truck was still parked along Route 16 last evening. Police have not said whether the truck in the video is related to the accident. For the integrity of the case, Guam Police will not disclose any information at this time as it may be detrimental to the investigation, said Sergeant Tapau. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now. Take a look at weather.
The Post has got all of the stuff that we're going to be talking about this morning. Partly cloudy skies with isolated light showers. There's northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour, decreasing a bit overnight. Highs near 87 degrees and overnight lows anticipated to be about 76 degrees. Sunset about 6:25 this morning. And the sunrise is going to be coming up at 6:44 for those of you that are going to be looking for some grill marks. My guess is today's going to be a good grill mark day, but watch out for the waters along east-facing reefs. There's still a high risk of rip currents through there. We'll take a look at the radar image and see what my weather teammate Mike Knight's got to say about that.
Yeah, grill marks will be possible today. Tomorrow will be better. It looks like we've got a pretty good influx of moisture.
Because it'll be Friday.
Yeah, that too. I've got some moisture coming in on a shear line that you can see on the satellite here. The fuzzy stuff to the northwest and southeast of the radar site, that is just a weird reflection in the signal, so that's nothing out there. But those little things moving along there in that northeasterly flow, that is some showers and stuff. That'll move on throughout the day. Some of it may dry up as the sun comes up, but we're dealing with a shear line here, and what happens is you have a ripple of energy in the atmosphere, and the moisture will hit that, lift up just a little bit, and that's just enough to squeeze out a few showers. Looking at satellite here, we can also see the ripples of energy riding along the northeasterly flow as the shear line continues to push down through the area. Got another reinforcing shot of air down back behind it. It looks like moving into the northern Mariana parts of the Northern Mariana Islands now, the extreme northern islands, and that'll push on through as well. All this is going to serve to do is just kind of keep the winds bumped back up to that 15 to 20 mile per hour range, maybe some gusts up to 25. I know we were seeing some of those gusts yesterday, but again, all this means that we have a fire danger that is increasing in the dry areas to the south of these, especially the higher up you go. the drier it becomes. And so if you're going to be out and about this weekend, or at any point in time, really, be careful throwing out any cigarette butts or you're barbecuing and all those sorts of things. Keep the fire out of the grass.
Gotcha. Tell you what, that's plenty of news and weather together right here on The Point at 7:13. Be right back.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The Ray Gibson Show brought to you by all kinds of people. And which one am I doing? Okay, so I'm doing all of them, right? Okay, gotcha. It's Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's never been a better time to go solar. American President Lines, where they're shipping the future, and Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
So Valentine's Day, there's an interesting cartoon in one of the newspapers that talks about how it's it's a corporate setup is what it is. It just it's one of those things where you just get it's an excuse for the card companies and the dinner companies to be able to say, okay, we got a thing and it's going to be Valentine's. It's kind of like a made up holiday with the St. Valentine's thing. And I think it's the people that make that claim, as the cartoon will, I think, better show that it's people that got no plans for Valentine's Day, and then there's another concept that I'd only heard this in the last week. I'd only heard it in the last week. A friend of mine, she's single, and I said, well, what are you doing for Valentine's? I was not fishing for a date, by the way. I said, what are you doing for Valentine's? And she says, oh, we're going to have a Galentine's night. And I said, what is that? And she said her and all of her single girlfriends are going to be getting together and hitting the town together, right? And not for the love of somebody, but for the love of each other and for the love of their single-hoodedness. So that's, I'll just tell you that right now, because I know that some of you are going to be, it's going to be a nice dinner somewhere. We'll catch the sunset, clink, clink, a couple of glasses of wine, and then maybe we're going to go hang out at one of the little, kind of lounge bar places that we've got, like a Deucet or the Point or something like that over at the Sheraton. Just a warning, a bunch of my single girl friends will be out running around drunk. So just keep that in your head while you're floating around and trying to get all lovey-dovey. Just watch out for it'll look like a bachelorette party is what it's going to be. 7:17, and is it time to take a look at what happened in the markets? I am fully capable. I'm prepared for this. This is a great day for the markets. You take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up by 117 points, closing at 25,543. You know why? Because Trump. That's why. That's all you need to know about it. Just Trump getting in there and saying we're going to tariff that and we're going to triggering Democrats all over the place, and the spend's been getting good. S&P 500 up in the green by about 8 points, and NASDAQ at 7420, and they closed up by 5.76 points here today. The FTSE is green. The Nikkei is green by 280. That puts them at 21,144. Hang Seng banging now at 28,497. They went up by 326 points. So there's talk about this love and being able to get together, I guess, between the United States and the big monster, the big economic monster that is China. Has got all of those markets seemingly moving up. I tell you what's happening with the price of gold here. Everybody is saying if the markets are going to be performing this well, I think I'm going to take some of my gold dollars and move them into there for a second. So we're seeing a little bit of a decline in gold, $1,308 for an ounce of gold. Always keep an eye on that number. They say there's the old, I don't know, gentleman wisdom that says that an ounce of gold back in the old days should be enough to get you a nice suit. I mean, a really good-looking suit, tailored, ultra-fitted out, that kind of thing. And I'm going, yeah, that might have been true back when an ounce of gold was $500 and $600. But in today's dollars, at $1,300, would you buy a $1,300 suit? Is there any way in your mind could you justify the purchase of a suit for $1,300?
I can't even justify the purchase of a $75 suit.
There you go. What do you think, Kev?
For your funeral.
I don't know. Nobody's going to wear it once. For heaven's sakes, get out of here with that. I've got a suit that I got. It'll be 16 years ago now. And anybody that's ever seen me MC something or someplace where I've had to wear a suit, that's the suit that I've
It probably
worn
doesn't even fit you now.
all of these years.
You've lost so much weight over the last 4 or 5 years.
The thing is, I got it from Gaylord's, and I've gone up and down in weight over in the 15, 16 years that I've owned this suit, and you buy a suit from Gaylord's, and it comes with like this lifetime. It's not a plug. It's just it's true. If you buy a suit from him. If you gain weight, he leaves extra material in the suit so that he's got some place to open it up again, so that you can continue to wear this suit, and to do the same thing with the pants. I've taken them in for refitting before in the past, and he's been able to do this. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of suit fashion and how much has changed. Would I be willing to spend another $500 or $600 or even $1,000 to have that suit replaced? Probably not. So if you see me out wearing a suit, I guarantee it's going to be a little bit baggy. Take a look at the commodities here. Like I said, gold up at $1,308, $53.97, almost $54 for a barrel of West Texas crude. That number is up sharply. I'll tell you what, yesterday it was $53 and about 6 cents. And that was up from preceding readings on West Texas crude. So it seems to be running up again. $53.97 today. That's an increase of about 91 cents. Bad news is Tapis is also up sharply as well. $65.29 yesterday. That's $65.29. Today, $66.50. So we got a pretty drastic increase in the price of Tapis crude as well. Brace yourselves. I hesitate to make predictions. I'm just telling you what the numbers are, and I'm topped off in my car. And you might want to think about topping off in your car as well today. 7:21 in the morning, and that's what happened in the markets. And it's time now for Jerry Roberts to do today's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
When it's time to give a presentation, do you get a case of the nerves, complete with sweaty palms, butterflies in the stomach, and the feeling that you'd rather be anywhere else doing anything else? I'm Jerry Roberts, and I've got 7 tips to make it easier for you today on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
It's common for even highly experienced, top-of-the-line speakers to get nervous before a presentation. I don't put myself in that category, but I can tell you that I feel a little queasy just before getting up to speak, and it's been that way since college. That said, there's a difference between nervousness and fear. If I'm nervous, it tells me that I'm building up to the starting point, that I'm getting ready. I know my stuff, I want to help people, and basically, let's get to it. It's the sitting and waiting that makes me nervous. When I stand up and get going, I'm fine. Fear is different. Fear tells you you're not prepared. I'm not prepared to deliver the talk and not prepared to answer questions. I'll rely on my notes too much. The audience will feel I don't have a command of the subject. This will be a total disaster. All this can race through your mind, leading to a mild or even moderate panic attack. And it takes just seconds to get there. So what can you do? 7 tips. Here we go. Number 1, know your stuff cold. What I mean by that is that if somebody woke you up out of a deep sleep and asked you a question about your topic, you'd be able to answer it without notes. Number 2, understand that people need what you know and that you know more about it than most people. Even if you're not an expert, you know more than I do, so I'm interested in what you have to say. The audience wants you to be successful, so their time is well spent. Believe this. It's true. Number 3, accept that you're uncomfortable. It's okay. 4, practice. Go through your presentation a couple of times to see how it flows and if there are difficult spots to deal with. Practicing on video is best. Do you look natural or stiff? How will the audience perceive you? Here's a bonus tip. They won't know you're nervous if you don't act nervous. So don't. Number 5, at the event, if you are feeling nervous, get away for a few minutes before you start and run through some light exercise, running or walking in place or stretching. If nobody can hear you, yell out something like, "I know what I know, and I'm glad they're here." All of this is just to handle the nerves. In addition, drink room temperature water, not ice water. 6, don't eat before you speak. This is a personal preference. I rarely eat within an hour of doing a presentation, sometimes 2 or 3 hours. I find that my mind is more focused and my energy is higher. And number 7, did I mention know your stuff? Yep, I said it twice because it's that important. Public speaking is a tremendous tool to help build reputation and influence others. Don't let fear keep you from taking advantage of it. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Yeah, and normally I'd say for transcripts of today's program, go to the GuamTraining.com, but their website's still down, so temporarily the transcripts are going to be unavailable. Jerry's hoping to have the system, his gizmo, back up by today. But otherwise, look, if it goes into a longer-term thing, you'll be able to find the transcripts over at the point.gu. 7:25 in the morning is the time here at the radio station. Headlines coming up with Kevin Kerrigan, and he's talking about know your stuff and have a level of confidence, room temperature water, and don't eat. Some very, very good point. One of the and I'm very careful about eating when I work as well, and when I'm giving presentations. I just don't want to have to worry about any gastrointestinal urgencies that may take place while I am on the job. And knowing your stuff is important as well. If you wanted me to get up and talk about broadcasting one way or the other, I could do that all day long. I could stand in front of a crowd and a PowerPoint and do that all day long. But about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I was in between radio pronouncing gigs and working with the company next door, marketing a product to the hotel industry. And the folks over at the Hotel and Restaurant Association said, why don't you, we're going to have a meeting. Why don't you give your presentation to all of the hotel guys that are there? And I thought about it for a second, going, if it was a radio thing, I'd love to. But I was pitching from a PowerPoint deck to a bunch of people in an industry that I've only got a casual acquaintance with. So I was kind of freaked out about the whole thing. And many of the tips and the tricks that Jerry used are some of the same ones that I used that helped me survive through that particular event. I had a good time, and near as I could tell, everybody that I gave the presentation to had a good time. None of them bought it, though. That was the disappointing thing. It was a great presentation, Ray. Loved your action on the stage. Loved the way you interacted with the PowerPoint without the PowerPoint becoming boring. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to buy that junk you're selling. Man! So that's the other thing. I mean, you okay buying from somebody that doesn't have the confidence? Maybe I was too confident. I don't know. 7:27 and a few other things that are at work here this morning, and I'll share those with you in just a little bit. I wanted to say good morning to a bunch of folks that are playing around on Facebook Live. Shirag Bojwani, Leah Metra is there. Denise Legaspi, that's Lady D. Dave Torrey. And if you're looking for a serious professional in your organization, get a hold of me, and I will put that player in touch with you. Jeff Pleadwell's on. Commissioner Roy Gamboa. Jerry Roberts is watching. He was watching himself talk on the radio. Vanessa Jadikpa is playing around and online. Eunice Mendiola, A. Camacho, Adonis Mendiola. Happy Valentine's greeting to everybody from Keith Parsky in what I'm sure is frozen Washington, D.C. Bennett Lujan Duenas, Charlie Laron over at Guam Regional Medical City, Nate Horn, and Pauline Okada What did you send me, Nate, that I gotta remember to talk about this morning? Was it the big deal with Regine Tugati and the big record that she apparently broke? Don't know. We'll find out in just a little bit. And there's bunches of ways that you can get details to me about what it is that you were thinking about, what's on your mind. Email. First of all, you can call. We do the deal with the phone. So you can 888-8255 is one way to play around with me, and then there's the other way that you can do it, which is the WhatsApp 988-5874. That's 988-5874. And if we're friends on Facebook, I don't see why you couldn't just send me a message with whatever it is that you want to talk about. My friend Shane, we were riffing on Guma Tranquilidad. And I remember the last time that there was a flap about Guma Tranquilidad. There was a time, and the idea was Carlos Camacho, who knows a thing or two about being able to take something with value, combine that with opportunities in grants from the federal government, and then create another higher value from that. He was looking at Guma Tranquilidad. And saying there might be some things that we can do with this that will lever this opportunity. Unfortunately, would require moving the people that live at Guma Tranquilidad off that property. And he was actually going to build them a newer, better facility. Because you look at Guma Tranquilidad, that's been around since what, Ricky's days. Uncle Ricky's days, right? And maybe there are some new things that we can do with that. Take advantage of modern technology, take advantage of modern gizmos and plumbing and a different way that we view senior citizen life. And do something with that. And he took that idea to the legislature, where it went over like a fart in church. There didn't seem to be anybody that was crazy about that idea. And in fact, they created statute then that said basically that Guma Tranquilidad is not for sale. And I guess the question, I got to look up that statute, because now I want to see if Guma Tranquilidad might not be for sale, but is it for lease? Can we lease the thing out? I think maybe among the horns of the dilemma that Ray Tupazna finds himself on. But anyway, my buddy Shane writes in, Guma Tranquilidad, why don't they rent the property to a hotel? But as part of the lease agreement, require them to allocate maybe 2 floors that are elderly friendly. That way GovGuam can make money, the elderly is housed, somebody else does the maintenance, and Guam can have more hotel rooms to up our GDP. Plus, more jobs would be created, and the elderly would have a better view than their dilapidated home next door. You know what? That might be an interesting idea. Might be a way to do this, and we'll move you temporarily, and we're going to stick you someplace just as nice, just as fancy, and then when the hotel or whatever it is that gets built on that property, when that goes up, then we'll see to it that you have a couple of floors that's just for you guys, and maybe more of you, where somebody else is paying the bills and keeping the bingo game going 24/7. 7:31 now. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Leon Guerrero administration has submitted to the legislature the names of 2 nominees to sit on the board of the Port Authority of Guam. They are Anthony Chargaloff Jr. and Isa Marie Kokai. Their names were submitted to Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes' office last Friday. Chargaloff has been tapped to fill the unexpired term of former Port Board member Melanie Mendiola, who is now acting administrator of the Guam Economic Development Authority. Kokai has been nominated to a 3-year term from the date of her confirmation. The 2 appointments, if confirmed, will round out the 5-member board, which would include Chairman Frank Santos and members Nathan Timinglow, Maria Taitno, Kokai, and Chargaloff. Janela Carrera, the administration's communications director, said Kokai will be replacing board vice chairman Oscar Calvo, whose term actually expired on December 31st. However, board members whose terms expire can continue to serve for another 90 days until replaced. During Tuesday's Port Board meeting, Calvo was one of the outspoken critics of General Manager Rory Respicio's proposal to begin mediation in the Guam YTK case. Taitno was also critical of that proposal, but her term does not expire until next year. In Superior Court yesterday, M.B. Cotto was sentenced to 5 years in prison for aggravated assault with a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. After a lengthy trial, Cotto was found guilty of slashing the neck of a 12-year-old boy who was trying to protect his 14-year-old cousin and his aunt in 2017. A release from the Attorney General's office quotes Chief Prosecutor Basil O'Malley as saying, "We are happy with the sentence imposed." Governor's office yesterday announcing it is aware of fake Facebook accounts claiming to be those of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio. The fake accounts have been reported to the Guam Homeland Security Advisor, the government's Office of Technology, and to Facebook for investigation. Neither Leon Guerrero nor Tenorio currently have an official Facebook page. If you receive a friend request or message from someone on Facebook claiming to be the governor or lieutenant governor, report them to Facebook and the Office of the Attorney General. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 7:34. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect, friends, and enjoy the great hospitality that you'll find only at iConnect, but also learn about the great packages and plans they've got for 2019. Push to talk mobile and even internet plans at iConnect.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
7:35, time to crack open the traffic gizmo and see if there's anything cool going on out there that you need to know about, at least traffic-wise. Is it going to be easy or hard to get to work today? It's a good question. Let me just crack open that traffic gizmo and see what it's got to say. 8, 10, and 16, a little bit crowded. Imagine that. How about it? Not as bad as it was yesterday. 10 and 15, looking at traffic at that intersection beginning to get all slow, and then you get the other traffic that takes you into the University of Guam area. Watch out for that as well. Now, we got Telenpago Ord out the intersection of 4 and 10. That's looking all right. And then should be clear all the way into the downtown Hagatnya area. Nothing building up around Hagatnya Heights over by the Navy Hospital. Nothing major in front of Big Navy in Sumai, and it looks like everything is cleared up. Well, just about everything is cleared up on the way into Anderson Air Force Base. I think your biggest troubles are going to be just getting out of Jigo and towards the Dededo area. And all of Route 3 a little bit slow this morning. A lot of traffic by the schools and the intersection of 1 and 3. Going to be getting some work on 1 and 3. I'll tell you about it in just a little bit. But that's all I got for you right now. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
There's an unusual convergence. It's never happened before. I've actually got on Facebook Live Bobby Shringy on one side and Senator Jimmy Moylan on he's actually on the phone.
Yeah, you got it surrounding you, Ray.
That's like being at Moses all of a sudden. What's going on here? can't take the pressure. It's 7:38 in the morning, and yeah, it was nice. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to run into each other a little bit longer. And you guys, when I did blaze into the place, it looked like you guys were in on what looked like a business conversation. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, a little celebration of pre-Valentine's, and happy Valentine's to you, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I see, now that would have been the last thing I thought, because you're also sitting at a table with Dink Scambaluri.
Yes.
So it's the furthest thing of my mind from is thinking that there could be any kind of pre-Valentine's anything with the three of you.
Yeah. We were having a cheers, but yes, it was a great celebration. Thank you.
That's all right. Yeah, you want to get primo airtime. That's all you got to do is drink with me at Moses. It's 20. Don't let that secret out too much, right? 20 away from the top of the hour. And Senator Jimmy Moylan online, and somebody said, what is this about the 8,000th measure that has been introduced out of this freshman office? And I said, look, guys, there's a lot to get to, and there are things where maybe we do need to be a little bit more reactionary. There was a lot of criticism of the lack of attention being paid to the quote Airbnb business that we've got here on Guam, and the number of facilities that weren't actually paying any taxes. In fact, had not even gotten a business license from the Department of Revenue and Taxation. And there needs to be, in addition to the issues that they had with rules and regulations not being in place at the time, now that they are, we've got to have some enforcement of the rules and regulations and start shaking the trees and see which B&Bs fall out.
Yes, exactly. And you know, it's out there. We've been hearing this for years, all these problems for years. And as when I was a member of the Guam Chamber, too, that's been discussed as well. So these folks that are trying to do their best and doing it right, it's hurting them, and it's hurting our industry. We've identified, or Reverend Tex has identified, over 340 of these vacation rentals and bread and breakfasts are out there. And only like 29 of them are licensed to conduct business properly.
0.8% is giving you an idea just how low that number is. And those are, I think, the ones that came forward probably in just the last little bit of conversation. Because my guess is they figured the jig might be up. We better start lining on the side of righteousness and light.
Correct. Yeah, and there's three things we hope that this bill can do to help that, to reinforce that. You know, we're looking at increasing those penalties from 5,000 to 10,000, and sometimes, depending on the amount of violations they get, even removal of their license and kicking them out of the business for a while. But we're also looking to create some rewards programs, because we think Reverend Tax needs help. They're busy folks. And why not incentivize your neighbors to just look out for like a neighborhood watch? And a lot of our folks know where these places are, and if they identify them, and Reverend Tax puts the hammer down and are not able to penalize them, then depending on whatever that fine is, the rewards program for those whistleblowers, that can get up to 10% coming from that revenue.
Ooh. So it's the word we're looking for here is not incentive. I think the more popular colloquial term might be bounty.
Okay. Yeah. The new bounty hunters for vacation and rental illegal places on Guam. Sure. And then also the third thing we're looking at is to help Reverend Tax. So we know that they're trying their best, and they need help too. So we're looking at a 10% revenue from this industry, and the industry is. I think we identified like a $23 million industry. So we're anticipating maybe $4 million of that in lost revenues. So collecting that and giving 10% of that to Reverend Tax to help them with that portion for their equipment they need, new computer systems or manpower. So that's their annual income to assist them. And then with the public's help, identifying what's out there, because more are going to come. Some will come and go, and some will be right and some won't be right. So we need the public's eye out there to continually monitor this for us. So we're hoping this bill would do those three things. You know, penalize them, give rewards for the public, and also generate money for revenue tax to enforce these laws.
Yeah, because depending on how much money we can generate for something like this, there might be an opportunity to, as you say, more additional surveillance, additional legal people on the floor of the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Once we've gotten those bodies in there, because it always seems to me that's among the issues, is number one, just getting bodies in the door that are capable of doing this work, and then training them to do the work, and then paying them to do the work. They've been asking since Artie Logan was the director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation. He has always been asking for bodies.
Right. We have the opportunity to talk with Art just this week, too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yes. And the training is so important, and the audit folks is so needed, and the computer's talking. So there's a lot of identified things that they want to get going. And I'm sure with Daphne Shimizu and their things are going to get done. And I'm looking forward to working with her. So we're just trying to identify some things that the public needs done, but give them money and support revenue tax to enforce it.
Now I'm looking at the, I had it lined up just a few minutes ago. I'm looking at the legislative calendar and looking to see if there's anything here that's got your name on it yet. At which point are you going to start seeing more of your bills get heard? Public hearings?
Yeah, I'm on the Rules Committee, so we have, I think it's next week, Tuesday or Thursday, there is a public hearing for one of the bills coming on up. I'm looking at everybody getting their chance, of course, but we're excited on getting on the floor and having more public hearings and actually getting this to the floor for hopefully one of them becoming law. So being part of the rules.
Do you know, have they decided when there's going to be a public hearing for yours and Pito's and Joe S.'s casino bill?
No. There is a talk about it beginning the first week of March. So we're hoping that would come to light. So that could be just a few more weeks from now.
No, I'm looking at the calendar. I'm pretty sure I know. It's just that everybody's already starting to line things up. So there's the party poopers are already out there, editorial board at the Guam Daily Post, and they've been joined now by the Archdiocese of Agana. They've issued a statement on gambling out there.
I read that, right? And they they weren't coming down too much on the games of chance, but they're really focusing on the hard gambling, the casino gambling, where it's a 24-hour one. So it's good to give their opinion, and that's what we want to hear. And it helps people get more involved and what is the community looking for. And we're also waiting for the court's decision. The Attorney General gave us good opinion, and now we're waiting for the court's decision as well. In the meantime, these machines are still out there, or rather than these Liberties machines and other bingo establishments and so forth, from pachinko establishments too. We are taxing some of them, but we're not taxing all of them, and we could look at increased revenue. If they take the machines away, okay, they take the machines away. In the meantime, it's here, and I'm recommending we increase their fees. But going back to the games of chance, that's what we're looking for. So at the public hearing coming on up for that, hopefully soon, that we can finally determine with the rules and regs what the mayors want to do and what they hope to establish, and if it's run properly, maybe it can be out there. So we just want to put that to the floor. So I'm kind of happy that discussion is being brought about, and we're either going to do it right or we're not going to.
Or not do it at all. It's interesting. I sent a WhatsApp to BJ Cruz the other day because there's rumors floating around that they might want to conduct some kind of audit on carnival and casino activity in the past of the mayor's council in particular. And he said it's certainly up for some kind of consideration. So you might actually have some of that available. That information might be, or at least preliminary information might be available to you as you walk into that public hearing. Bobby writing 31-35. That's the one-stop business License Center. That public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday morning.
Okay, looking forward to that.
So you got.
I knew one was in the pipeline.
Yeah. Well, they're not the sexy ones I want. I mean, that's all right. But I mean, who's going to say no to a one-stop place so that more people can get themselves licensed to do business?
That's correct, and that's what we need, Rick. We need your voice out there. We need folks' voice out there to push these bills to come to the floor.
On the sexy one. Hey, at some point, has Clint Magell gotten with you and talked about what might be a good taxation plan for the recreational marijuana?
We're discussing a little bit of that. Yes.
Anything come up? Do you got any concrete ideas? Because the thing is, in my mind, there's two prongs on this recreational marijuana. One of them is people are going to be able to grow it themselves, so they won't be in that taxation pipeline.
Right.
Because they're growing it for their own personal consumption. They're not going to be allowed to sell it, if my understanding of the legislation is right. But then you've got the other side where somebody will be able to cultivate the marijuana and put it into some kind of storefront and then sell it, proceeds of which should be taxable to the government of Guam.
Right. Yes. And we did sit down a couple of weeks ago, or I believe actually it was just last week, and his tax on it, we recommended he even increase it another 5 or another 10%. So he's considering that too.
As long as it doesn't jack up the price too much, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's the thing, because what's the point of doing this whole thing with medicinal marijuana, et cetera, and you can't. And recreational marijuana, we can't figure out how to tax it, or nobody buys it because it eventually is cheaper. I mean, the stuff that you sell at the stores ought to be boutique Palau quality. Otherwise, nobody's going to buy it. They just snatch some seeds and find a way to do it at their house. Anyway, it's all in the realm of theory until it becomes law. 7:49, dude. I got to run.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Everybody.
You have a great rest of the day. Happy Valentine's to you as well, my friend. 10 away from the top of the hour, 888-825-5888-TALK. The casino, interesting conversation, and will continue to be interesting, well, I suppose until something happens. Again, we have this long wait and see. Here's the idea. We might have an opportunity to actually return to the days of casino at the carnival, and a restoration of the games of chance. And as you know, Senator Telena is fighting this tooth and nail because it was her legislation that eliminated the casinos and the game of chance, kiosks at the carnival. And I thought that was a bite too big. And the problem with the casinos wasn't that they existed. I certainly don't recall stories of all of the weird stories that we got around casino time where we've got, there's families. Mom and dad have gone inside the casino to gamble, and they've left their infant children in the car to fend for themselves until they're done with the scourge of gambling inside the casino at the carnival. I never heard or saw anything like that going on. If it did, it didn't bubble up to the surface. The problem was it didn't look like there was anybody in control. You wanted to have the casino open because it's Mingala Fiesta? Okay, we'll do that. You want to have that, we got the Malolo Fiesta. Okay, we'll just casino up in Barragata because that makes sense, right? No, it didn't. And so I thought, it was a question of control and revenue that we needed to put on that. Now, I'm interested. I haven't read the whole thing all the way through. There is this italicized part, which is lifted from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. This is the big green book, if you've ever seen it. Games of chance, card games, etc., or wagers are not in themselves contrary to justice. They become morally unacceptable when they deprive someone of what is necessary to provide for one's needs and those of others. The passion for gambling risk becomes an enslavement. Unfair wagers and cheating at games constitute grave matter unless the damage inflicted is so light, so slight, that the one who suffers it cannot reasonably consider it significant. Right? That's great catechism language right there. And I'm not, it would be interesting to, because now we get the church talking about this again. There's two conversations that will light up from there. Number one, does the church have a strong moral platform? Given all of the pedophile priest stories and the cases that are against it now, even the nuns involved, is the archdiocese, does it have a strong enough moral platform to stand on to be able to be registering edict out to everybody? And number two, is it possible that this archdiocese, this version of the archdiocese, may reverse the position of a previous archbishop, which was, and you'll remember this now, because we're all not all Roman Catholics, but we've all been subject to the Catholic school kids coming up to you and saying, "Hey, buy a booklet for the church, Sister said," and you would have to whip out a $5 bill and you'd get 6 raffle tickets, and they'd have these massive raffles all over the place in the Catholic Church. And the last archbishop said, "No, we're not going to be doing that anymore. We're not going to have that around." Because it's hard for us to speak out against casino gambling if we are at the same time conducting these raffles. Using the technical definition, prize, consideration, and chance, yeah, it's gambling. You know, we've got a prize. You have to pay to be eligible to win, and then there is chance involved, right? And that equals gambling in lots of people's eyes. But you know, a church raffle. Can you think of something more harmless than something like that? Let me just say this out loud and in public. Archbishop Michael Burns, bring back the raffles for the church, and maybe that'll help bring in a couple of dollars to battle the lawyers with. 7:53 in the morning. Good morning, Tomas.
How are you doing, Ramon?
Maulik. Maulik todo mafnut. I'm feeling good because I got my friend gave me some serious coffee, so I'm all right.
Anyway, it's not the gambling itself. We got to read that law that was made a long time ago against casino-style gambling. The law specifically says no casino-style gambling. That means poker, slot machine, that one-armed bandit. That's what we're talking about when we say no casino-style gambling. Yeah. All other gamblings are not defined in the law, not made illegal, just casino-style gambling. And it is embarrassing for us, for the Mayor's Council and all the advocates of the casino-style gambling to be allowed down at the carnival. It's embarrassing for us. We're the only jurisdiction in the world that makes a law against something, except when we can make money, then don't enforce it if we can make money. It's embarrassing. We're the only people in the world that do that.
I think isn't that what makes
out of a law? Don't enforce it.
Tommy, isn't that what makes us special?
Law, enforce it.
Don't you think that's the thing that makes all of us out here in the fringes of democracy that much more special of a people? Is our ability to sometimes blind ourselves to our own hypocrisies?
Yeah, and the people of the world, even the Chamorros in the mainland, are talking and they're laughing out loud. That what are the Gomanians doing? They make a law, but yet they say don't enforce it if we can make money out of it.
Yeah, well,
they're laughing at us.
Nah, they'll secretly want to come back.
Yeah, you know, if they want to allow the casino-style gambling down in the carnival, let's repeal that law first. Let's not do it just so we can make money out of it. You see what I'm saying?
No, totally. I totally. You know, the problem is that we're victims of the government and our style of government, where we've got a virtually different legislature every 2 years. It's very rare where it's the same body all the time, run by the same people. You know, you get these long spurts, but for all intents and purposes, you know, you got different people that come in, and even when you get people that are at the legislature and then they find themselves over at the governor's office, even then their attitudes may evolve to something different. It might be different. There's Chris Barnett with an interesting story about the Guma Tranquilidad, where you and I are going to live in when we get old. Because it's in Tuman. There's a couple of cool gentlemen's places across the street. But I digress. So you got Guma Tranquilidad, and a measure that was voted on by the legislature that would, into perpetuity, restrict that facility from ever being sold, that land from ever being sold. And so we've got Lou Leon Guerrero, who voted in favor of that bill when she was Senator Leon Guerrero. But now that she is Governor Leon Guerrero, she's basically green-lit Ray Chopaz's plan to find a way to lever the value of Guma Tranquilidad to advance the needs of Gura. So you see what I'm saying? Where people's feelings can evolve over time. You know, 25 years ago we have the conversation about recreational marijuana, and you just hang up on the guy and say, "I want to talk about that with you hippie." But now it's 2019, and there's all kinds of people that say, "Never mind the medicinal marijuana, just make it so that anybody wants to grow it can grow it."
Yeah, it's really weird how we operate. You know. There's a law against selling that lot, that lot to investors, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to ignore the law just so we can make money. They want to make a generating kind of building out of it, money-making building. And they're going to ignore that law. They should do things right. If they want to invest that lot to a hotel developer, repeal that law first. We cannot just ignore a law just because we can make money out of it.
Well, Tom, I've often said that if nominated, I would not run. If elected, I would not serve. And even my position on that evolved a little bit in the last couple of years, where because there were a lot of people that think that maybe I belong at the legislature. I have no idea what's wrong with these people, but there are some people that was, I'll vote for you in a minute. And I don't know. You got to be careful, because I would be one of the guys. You put me in the legislature, I'd vote no on every bill. Anything that came in front of me, I don't care how good it looks, I'm going to vote no on it. And I will start, if they say, well, what's it going to take for you to say yes to this measure? The first thing is, you show me 2 old laws we can repeal. I want to get rid of old junky laws, like the ones that you're talking about, where, it's obvious that there is we're contradicting ourselves, and we're our own worst hypocrites. So let's go and find some of those pieces of statute and eliminate those, and then maybe I will offer a yes, or offer support for your measure.
Yeah.
Could I do that? Would you support me if I did that? Write me in for the next one, bro.
All right, buddy. It's almost top of the hour. I'll see you later.
I'm glad that you're watching that. You must be able to hear the music too. You sounded great with Daryl Taggarty yesterday, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right, amigo. 888-825-5888-TALK. That's a frequent caller, Tomas. And a note here, I do want to say that we recognize there were some issues with our network programming yesterday. I believe that all of those issues were taken care of now, and you should be able to hear your favorite right-wing bomb throwers starting at 10 o'clock this morning until Daryl gets on at 4. It's 8 a.m. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnya. My name is Ray Gibson, and we got more stuff and fun and conversation coming up in the next hour.
More turnover in the Trump administration. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The head of FEMA stepping down. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
FEMA Administrator Brock Long announced in a statement that he's resigning after serving close to 2 years in his post, calling his tenure the opportunity of a lifetime. Since taking over the agency in June 2017, Long presided over the federal government's response to powerful hurricanes that struck the southeastern U.S. and Puerto Rico, as well as the devastating California wildfires. An inspector general's report released late last year found that Long used government vehicles and staff on 40 trips for personal reasons, including during a family vacation in Hawaii. Despite official warnings, the practice was unauthorized. Lisa?
Thanks, Sean. Hazardous housing for military families, the focus of a Senate hearing.
I listened in horror as families at Camp Pendleton told of mice eating through pacifiers in their babies' cribs and electrical outlets catching fire due to wiring issues.
Crystal Cornwall, one of the military spouses who testified today, blaming disease and birth defects on slum-like conditions, including black mold. Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.
The Military and Family Advisory Network ran an online survey last month that received 16,000 responses from military families across the country, finding that 56% of those surveyed found living conditions in base housing was negative or very negative, with 6 base housing contractors mentioned over and over by respondents to the online survey.
The Army Secretary and Chief of Staff say the conditions are unacceptable. They've ordered an Inspector General investigation. The U.S. House just voting to limit U.S. involvement in Yemen's civil war, considered a rebuke of the Trump administration's alliance with Saudi Arabia, which has been criticized for civilian casualties in the fight against Iran-backed rebels. This is Fox News.
Hi, this is Ray Gibson from The Morning Show on 93.3 The Point. And we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary this February. The Point is your news talk headquarters with top news, sports, weather, and traffic, and of course, always a little extra. We want to thank our listeners, fans, and followers for keeping us on our toes and joining us on this journey. The Ray Gibson Show Anniversary Celebration is brought to you by Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Opinion.
President Trump making his latest push for border security at a conference of police chiefs and county sheriffs.
I've come to deliver a very important message from the American people to you. Thank you.
As for the tentative deal to avoid another partial government shutdown, he says he's waiting for the fine print from Congress before making a final decision. The funding deadline is Friday. The president today also noting that tomorrow marks 1 year since 17 students and staff were killed in a shooting at a Florida high school.
We cannot imagine the sorrow and suffering the Parkland families have endured. Our entire nation mourns for the victims and their loved ones.
Pledging unwavering support to the effort to improve school security nationwide. Florida's new governor, Ron DeSantis, ordering a statewide grand jury probe of schools across the state.
To look into not only the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas incident, but how this school district here and other school districts have handled money for security, have handled all of these issues that impact the safety of our schools.
Made the announcement in Fort Lauderdale along with some parents and a survivor of the Parkland shooting. A scary problem leads to a new recall of some popular trucks.
Ford Motor Company is issuing a safety recall of 1.48 million 2011 to 2013 F-150 pickups with 6-speed automatic transmissions that could experience an intermittent loss of the transmission output speed sensor signal to the powertrain control module, potentially resulting in a temporary unintended downshift into first gear, even while the truck is in high speeds, increasing the risk of a crash.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Ford says it is aware of 5 reports of accidents. Dealers will update the powertrain control module software in the affected trucks free of charge. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Half a day and Good Morning Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Catholic Church on Guam has issued a statement in support of the ban on casino gambling at the annual Liberation Day Carnival. The statement from the Archdiocese of Agana calls the elimination of casino gaming from last year's carnival activities a step in the right direction. But the Archdiocese is urging authorities on island to go a step further and examine other forms of gambling, including gaming machines. Gambling enterprises which entice patrons to spend their money at all times of the day and night are especially harmful, said Archbishop Michael Burns in the statement. The release from the Archdiocese acknowledges that not all games of chance and wagering are wrong, but the Church discourages casino gambling because of its proven capacity to destroy individuals, families, and entire communities. The Leon Guerrero administration has submitted to the legislature the names of 2 nominees to sit on the board of the Port Authority of Guam. They are Anthony Chargaloff Jr. and Isa Marie Kokai. Their names were submitted to Speaker Tina Munya-Barnes' office last Friday. Chargaloff has been tapped to fill the unexpired term of former board member Melanie Mendiola, who is now acting administrator of the Guam Economic Development Authority. Kokai has been nominated to a 3-year term from the date of her confirmation. The 2 appointments, if confirmed, will round out the 5-member Port Board, which would include Chairman Frank Santos and members Nathan Timinglo, Maria Taitno, Kokai, and Chargaloff. Janela Carrera, the administration's communications director, said that Kokai will replace board vice chairman Oscar Calvo, whose term actually expired on December 31st. Board members, however, whose terms expire can continue to serve for 90 days until replaced. During Tuesday's board meeting, Calvo was one of the outspoken critics of General Manager Rory Respicio's proposal to begin mediation in the Guam YTK case. Taitno also was critical of the proposal. Her term does not expire until next year. We'll have more news after this.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill, pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between 2 buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. A 19-year-old son of Guam was found dead Sunday in his Army barracks at Camp Humphreys in South Korea. According to a report in Stars and Stripes, the circumstances surrounding the death of Private Clayton Cepeda are under investigation. Cepeda graduated from Simon Sanchez High School last year and joined the Army. He was a water purification specialist. He was assigned to the 602nd Aviation Support Battalion out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Easley expressed condolences to the family and friends of Cepeda here on Guam last November. Another Guam soldier, 28-year-old Sergeant Marcos Uggan, was found dead at Camp Hovey outside Dongducheon, South Korea. The details surrounding both deaths have not been released by the Army. The 31-year-old man arrested at Guam International Airport last week on allegations of importing marijuana leaves and seeds was employed by the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Office of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. According to a report obtained by the Guam Daily Post, Brian Sears Nicholas Jr. is the grants manager and lead planner for the CNMI Homeland Security Office. The Office of CNMI Governor Ralph Torres and the CNMI Homeland Security Office did not respond to a request for comment. Nicholas arrived at the AB Wonpat International Airport on a United flight from Honolulu on February 5th. Guam Customs were conducting drug interdiction efforts with a canine team in the baggage area on that day. The drug detector dog went on alert as Nicholas approached. That led to an inspection of his baggage inside one of the bags, according to court documents. Customs officers reportedly discovered green leafy substances concealed inside plastic containers, wrapped with dryer sheets, sealed inside resealable plastic bags, and then placed inside hygiene bags. Nicholas was charged with importation of a controlled substance as a first-degree felony and possession of a controlled substance on board an aircraft. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
You know, if I ever form a band, the name of my band is going to be Green Leafy Substance. What do you think? That work for you?
That's a pretty awesome name, actually.
Ray Gibson and the Green Leafy Substances.
Or the New Green Deal.
The New Green Deal. I'm sure that's what she was talking about there. What have I got to tell you? Well, hold on a second. Let me, I want to refresh the weather radar image and make sure that we're calling up the absolute latest data for Mike, my weather teammate Mike, to riff on in a second. Partly cloudy skies today. Isolated light showers. Winds from the northeast up to about 20 miles an hour. Decreasing just a hair overnight. Highs near 87 degrees and overnight lows 76 degrees, sunset at 6:25. Did you hear that? Sunset at 6:25. So what you're going to want to do is time your activities and your events. My suggestion would be, if you can, to get into some of these restaurants a little bit earlier. So, you know, you get a couple of glasses of wine there, a nice dinner, and then try to get out about 6:45ish, 6:25 for the sunset, and then go and then spend the rest of the time, I would say, down south where it's dark, not a lot of light down there, looking for the Milky Way.
There you go.
Right?
Not
Does
bad.
that sound romantic?
That does.
You know what else would be fun? Can I just one other thing while I'm thinking about it now is what you do is you go to some of these places and no doubt some of the like beachside areas where you're going to go to, there's a whole lot of like coconut leaves that are on the ground. Gather as many of you as you can, and a nice little bonfire on a cold, windy night like tonight. Didn't that sound great?
Yeah, just be careful, because we still have fire danger out there. So
Nothing can burn at night. You can't have a grass fire at night. It's impossible.
Yeah. So, yeah, make sure you're building that close to the water.
Just buckets. So there's something. If something goes south, you can check it out. What do we got now? Here's the weather radar, and I'm looking at it. It's a clear image that we can see of the actual island of Guam. So you can see the clouds moving over the island. Are they bringing with them any rain at all?
It looks like Southside might be getting a few showers right now, and that's actually where we need the rain, because that's where it's the driest.
Yes.
I keep going back to the dry thing because the fire danger is going up each and every day that we don't get rainfall, or I should say significant rainfall. Like this morning, we had a few showers blow through, and that's just not enough. You've got to have a good soaking rain, and we haven't had that in many, many weeks. So just be careful with any sort of fire or anything out there. Yeah, you can see the south side, though, getting some of these showers. These are isolated showers associated with this latest surge that came through, or shear line, as they like to call it. The little pom-poms off to the northwest and southeast that you see of the island, that's just interference in the radar, so that's not actually something out there. Switching to satellite real quick, we can see Guam in the middle of a bunch of nice puffy clouds, and that northeast flow, and that's another shear line that's come on through. It's starting to move through now. And then we have more energy back behind it, and then up to the north, even more coming down. So it looks like it'll continue this trend, at least for the foreseeable future, into next week easily.
And that's it?
That's about it, man. I got nothing else. Watch out on the east
like
side.
that
Those
movie,
waves
just
are
like that
something else.
movie, No Country for Old Men. You just stopped.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it's 8:15 in the morning, and that's news and weather together. Coming up, we got Blake Watson and Mike and I are going to pretend to talk about sports. And today's good because we've actually got some real sports stuff to talk about.
Laddie Stone Entertainment and the stations of Choice Broadcasting invite you to a sexy sleepwear soiree. Join us on Friday, February 15th at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Doors open at 7 and $15 get you your first drink and some poo-poos. It's a sexy sleepwear soiree, so come dressed in your PJs or your lingerie and party with the 2019 Miss and Mrs. Curvy contestants with the lingerie fashion show and cash prizes for the cutest, the sexiest, and the best couple. It's the Miss and Mrs. Curvy Pageant Sexy Sleepwear Soiree with Pipple Empire, local promos, One Punch Media, Sidelines Bar and Grill, Island Lux, The Hive, and Figure 8.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by our incredible pals over at Cold Stone, where they have this Dream in Pink. It's a Valentine's Day cake, and amazingly, today is Valentine's. Hopefully you've made reservations. These things move fast. It features pink strawberry ice cream, dreamy cheesecake bites. I don't know why. You know, I think maybe I got to get my eyes checked again, because it looked like it said butt cakes. I don't know what it is. It's just some kind of parallax going on in my eyes. Strawberry puree and moist red velvet cake. That's a Valentine's Day cake. Order today. Reservations are limited. Dreamin' in Pink is new from Cold Stone Creamery. Super premium ice cream made fresh every day.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
I got a lot of people to say thank you for. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank the producers. And I'd also like to say thank you very much to the guys over at American Present Lines. APL is shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical Center, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. And, of course, the guys at Kim and Ron and everybody over at Security Title. If you've got a really, really complex deal that you're trying to pull off and you go, I just don't know what to do about this, then get a hold of them. They've seen everything. They'll be able to walk you through it over at Security Title. And then Take Care, who's done just a fantastic job for us here at the radio station, making sure that I have a good time during my anniversary month. Thank you very much. Take Care.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
My pal Renee is saying that's too much extra joss. Chetlu Ray Ray. You know what? Hard to believe, but I'm not extra jossing today. I've not needed to extra joss, and the other thing is because Tom gave me some coffee, and this is some serious. It's not serious. It's not like wow, oh my God, super double espresso coffee or anything like that. It's good tasting coffee. It's easy to drink, so I'm getting a little bit more of it earlier in the broadcast, which makes me that much more, I don't know, extra, if you will. It's 8:18 and. No, that would be a whole different one. That would be Tom's a cop, so he wouldn't be giving me any of that. No, that's the noise that you would have made if you had been at the delivery of whatever it was that the police were able to confiscate yesterday.
I ain't high, I'll tell you that, man. I don't feel nothing, man.
Yeah, because it's like that. Did you see the imagery that we're talking about? I'm sure that it's out there somewhere. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring this back up on the screen here.
It was quite a haul.
And see if I got a little bit of slowdown going on the return here. I might need to read.
There's a bunch of people who are probably in the market to buy that look at that and be like, well, there goes my weekend.
Yeah, that was
take it off the streets. That means take it out of take it out of my
now
possession.
It's dry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You gave it to the one guy that here's the one mule that we could give it to that was going to get pulled over by the cops.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people that saw that and they were like.
There were a bunch of people. There's a massive traffic on Route 16 yesterday. It was biblical. All the guys, I know people that were stuck in that, saying, "Dude, can we get out of this? I got to get down to UB40." And somebody in the Facebook, one of the Facebook presentations I got this morning is saying there was apparently some vaping going on at UB40, but it wasn't the regular vape that you get, the one that smells like
it was the oil,
sweet sour,
the cannabis oil.
Is apparently
you can tell the difference? Not because of the way the operator's acting, but because of the cloud.
Is it bigger or smaller?
It's small. Usually, if it's the oil, the cannabis oil, I think it's kind of expensive, so people aren't just cramming it in and and I think it from what I've seen, you know what I mean. I don't know anything about vapes, whether it be cannabis or whether it be juice or whatever, but it just seems that the vapor juice burns a lot. It's thinner and it's actually juice, not kind of a waxy buildup, and so it just burns like a huge cloud. Where the cannabis vape is kind of like a little puff.
Yeah, where do you buy that?
The cannabis oil?
From the back of a white pickup.
Probably whoever owns it. Go find the guy that got pulled over yesterday. That's so a lot of people got treated to that. But did you see the video that came along with that? I'm going to pop this up again because I think the video in my mind was kind of fascinating because it featured 1, 2, 3 police officers, and you might have to zoom in a little bit on this on your Facebook. So there's one police officer is already there, and he's got gun up and out, and he will be joined by another police officer here in just a second, again, with his pistol out. So in addition to, what looks like a regular traffic stop, it must have been a little bit hairier for the officers. It 3 cops out with their service pistols ready to go. So, did they know this guy? Was there a chase? We got no information coming out of the Department of DPS.
Just because of, and I'm just this is just my own opinion, just based off of live PD and cops and all that stuff. Just knowing how the cops are. Maybe he was fumbling around, maybe whoever was in the cab was, frantically, they couldn't see their hands and they were just trying to hide stuff or whatever. So maybe that's why the cops draw down, because usually if they can't, that's why they'll say, throw your hands out the window. You know, it's just, they always want to see your hands. I've noticed, even on a routine traffic stop for just whatever, they always want to see your hands, just so to make themselves at ease, because if they can't, then they think they don't know what's in your hand. They assume the worst. And so every time
every time you get pulled over, they make you put your hands out?
No. And I'll tell you this, I have gotten tons of warnings, and I am very polite to police, and it's because by the time they get to my window, everything is laid out, and my hands are on the wheel at 10 and 2 waiting. I'm dead serious about that. I do that every time, just so they don't even have to question whether my intentions or whether I'm a bad person or whether I have anything in the car.
We know you're not a bad person.
And I always tell them, I'm like, there's nothing illegal in the car.
Get that,
search it if you want. I don't care.
Get that hair. It doesn't look like it's been combed or shampooed in a long time. I think that might put off a cop.
Warner Brothers called me. The Aquaman 2 is got greenlit.
No way, really?
Yeah. I mean, the first one made $1 billion. So, yeah, I read that this morning. The Aquaman 2 was greenlit, the sequel already.
8:23 in the morning, and we're going to be talking about an attractive girl who is running in just a second, but I wanted to do a shout-out to a girl I met last weekend. Her name is Joanna Opolentissima. And she is a contestant in that, what is it, Mr. and Miss pageant that's coming up this weekend? Which is it's sports related, right? Because there's guys in it. So I can say that I can drop this into the sports thing. I can do the shout out here into the sports thing.
No, I haven't heard about any Mr. and Miss pageant this weekend.
Really?
But I do like the dude's red beard back there.
Oh yeah. Can you see that on the screen? Because I wasn't sure if people would be able to see that. Yeah, I think his name is Drake. I don't think he's in the pageant though. I'm pretty sure the dude isn't in the pageant. Nice picture. They took that picture with my my Google Pixel. Anyway, so let me get back to the work because it's time for Sports with Mike. Right?
See, if I was in a band,
I think that's the dude from Porky's.
If I was in a band,
yeah.
I would hire a guy that looked like that as my manager. You need your road manager or your tour manager. It needs to look like that if you're in a band.
Yeah, one of the two people.
Or your bass player.
Yeah,
or your bass player.
One of the three people in the picture. His nickname is Jailbait. I won't tell you which one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's you.
What's the sports here, buddy?
Well, I guess. Before we get to what we're going to talk about, I just wanted to recap this. I didn't get a chance to yesterday.
I don't know how. We wasted 20 minutes talking about Jack yesterday.
Boys basketball. The Simon Sanchez Sharks beat the GW Geckos 75-69. Teedson, they get their win. They needed it. 1-9 was their record before yesterday. They win 62-55.
Yep.
Southern, they lose to the Red Hot St. John's Knights 63-49. The league's best, the John F. Kennedy High School Islanders, 9-1. They beat Guam High 51-37. So there you go. That's what I have for local stuff.
Right.
And I've been going back and forth. We're going to run over to track, the sport of track. I've been going back and forth all morning since about 5:50 with Regine Tagati, my friend over in Annapolis. And I asked her if she could call in, and she couldn't. I think she's got class or something. And I did ask her to record a nice little message for us. And she's trying. But she hasn't sent it.
Okay,
to
well,
me yet.
then as soon as you bounce it to the point WhatsApp, and then I can play the audio or whatever the video is from there. But basically, we're all excited because Regine has broken an Annapolis record,
a Navy record, new Naval Academy record in the indoor 200-meter. Female event. Guam's fastest female, Regine Tagati, shatters the record. I don't really have the time here.
Was it 200 meter, but I don't know what the numbers are either.
24 seconds, 24.83. There you go. 200 meter dash, 24.83. 24 seconds. Does that seem right?
Yeah,
I
think that was
that's a lap, right? 200 meters a lap?
No,
that's about half.
It's half a track.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where they start and they run around the curve and they come and they hit the straightaway. Right?
They just run through the straightaway and then there's the end of the curve. So each you figure there's a straight is 100 meters, the curve is 100 meters, then you've got another 100 meters. So what
400, that's right.
Yeah, 400 so it's 400's all the way around the track. So she did half of the track in 24 seconds.
I don't know if I could look at half of the track in 24 seconds.
There's the closest thing I can get, I'm trying to think about what my time is for the 400s, and then, technically you might be able to divide that in two, but I tell you what, my time for a 400 is nowhere near 60 seconds. So this woman is going very, very, very fast.
Yeah. She made the Patriot League news as well for that. And not only, I think she holds the record here. I think the record here is pretty close to 24, 23 seconds when she broke it here at JFK. I think is when she was still running for JFK.
Find somebody in track and field that knows about that, Doris or Marissa or somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really big deal, and that's what I kind of wanted. I wanted to ask her about putting Guam on the map because she's done so many times. Micro Games, she's an Olympian. And just wanted to talk about what her new record means to her. So once I get all those answers from her, I will definitely pass off what she says.
No,
to
I'll
me.
be looking very much forward to that. Now, and I don't know if this is in the realm of sports, but it came to me in the context of sport. I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day, and we were talking about fun activities that we used to do when we were kids and stuff like that. And he asked about a program I used to do called Auto Jam, and he's like, would you consider doing another Auto Jam or something like that? Because I used to produce those car shows back in the 90s and 2000s. And the answer is, I don't know, because I don't know what the car culture is like these days. If it's big enough to support something where you've got 25,000 people at like Greyhound Park looking at cars. And he says, well, we'll find out, because there's a car show this weekend, the Battle Showcase is going to be taking place tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Saturday, at Guam International Raceway Drag Strip in Jigo, touted as a once-a-year event. 8 different battles are sure to excite gearheads, drifters, music lovers, foodies, and vinyl spinners alike. So we've got the custom auto bike show, and we've got a drag race battle, a drifting battle, a DB battle. Oh, that's what we used to get. Their SPL, basically, it's sound pressure levels, right? So we want to find out who's got the loudest systems, right? One-on-one break dancing battle, one-on-one graffiti battle, a DJ battle with DJ Slint, DJ Ace, and Ryan the mixologist.
I know Ryan.
We know Ryan.
Yep.
So that's going to be our go-to. And a food truck battle.
Ooh, who's going to be this? Say food truck, just say food trucks.
It's just Bangdonas, Corned, A&L Foods, G&G, Ma Tacos, and UUNQ.
Okay.
I don't know who those
Sounds
guys
good.
are.
Yeah, either way, I'm sure they're throwing down good food. But all these, what are these cars? Like, what's the cars here? Like imports? I mean, are they like Hondas and Acuras and Supras and?
Well, it doesn't look like it's a static show, so I don't know what kind of cars they're going to be having. There's going to be competition in auto customization, urban arts racing, and motorsports. I don't know. But you used to be able to say, okay, give me a lowrider category, and we'd have to close it at 100 cars because we just don't have enough room on the.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, do like Euros, but just like 50 cars because there's so many of them.
So it's brand new to the scene, but Tokyo. You'd think Tokyo, yeah, I bet they have good car shows. So in Shibuya, every first Saturday night of every month, things kick off around 10 p.m., go on until 1 a.m., but this is taking over Tokyo. I found this article actually yesterday. They have this great lowrider culture that is that is coming on. So the streets of Tokyo and Shibuya on Saturday nights are just full of classic Impalas and and let's see here, looks like some deuce and a quarters, but yeah, there you go. There's lowriders just cruising through Tokyo.
No, that's got a crazy image. Got to be a crazy scene here. I like Shibuya. I think Shibuya is an incredible place, and I get lost in the lights down there just anyway. And the idea that is the place completely run by Yakuza.
Yeah,
but
that's why it's so nice. That's why it's
you're
so nice.
Still safe, like you're in God's pocket because it's Tokyo, right?
Right.
Just don't get yourself in trouble.
Cover up your tattoos.
Outdoor women looking to see Regine Tugade's
57. Right. So did you get that?
Dave Torrey just sent me there's a Wikipedia list of Guamanian records in athletics, and I'm looking here. I don't see my name anywhere. Darn it. The record is 12.3 for Regine Tugade, Army versus Navy Star meet, and that was 100 meter. 200 meters, 24.73 in the Virginia Challenge.
And then it seems that as a senior, with that
was last year.
Yeah, and then she shattered it this year. Then the one I was talking about is she was a senior running for JFK. That was back in 2012, and she broke. Or no, excuse me. The original record was set in 2011. She broke it in 2016. When she won she ran the 400 meter in 57.89 seconds, beating Naomi Bloss's record of 12 seconds in 2011. So she owns records here. She owns records in Annapolis. Insane. Crazy.
Yep.
And she's still running.
And congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to her. And you couldn't ask for a nicer subject to interview, to ask questions, to inquire, to congratulate, anything. She's a really, really, really nice young lady.
All right, and I got something I'm going to share with Kevin, but I'll read it on the radio as an announcement. It was something that had gone out from a woman named Christina on her Facebook page yesterday. WTF, you guys. Just got word that lawn guys beat up a homeowner and stole his marijuana in his home in Barragata Heights. They were caught. So that's why the traffic was backed up this afternoon. Please, if you live in Barragata Heights, invest in a security camera or cameras. Lock your doors. Have your dogs out for backup alert systems. And most importantly, secure your belongings. Don't leave them outside for everybody to see. Stay safe. And just a warning to y'all, because I wouldn't want this happening to you or your family. So these guys, either they were bush cutters and saw the stash, beat up the guy to get it, or they were there perpetrating to be bush cutters. So was this. Because Barragata Heights got a very, very extensive neighborhood watch program. These guys, this is like old ladies with CBs, right? But everybody's on WhatsApp. And so if somebody cruises the neighborhood looking like they're casing a house, somebody will see it and report it to everybody else. But in this case, I mean, if it's guys that look like bush cutters, and there's, guys in every neighborhood that are bush cutting, as a sideline. So maybe they get less attention. But somebody was growing marijuana, and it got lifted by these guys. And I think it'll be interesting to see where the rest of this story takes us.
Then they got what they deserved.
What's that? For stealing and getting busted by the cops? Yeah. I suppose you're right. Yeah. I suppose you're right. Listen, all the time that we've got for today. I got some friends coming in to talk about a really unique program to be able to take money from Guam and send it to friends and family in the Philippines without it costing a whole lot of money, and it's super, super convenient. And if you do any traveling to the Philippines, there's a great way to guarantee, number one, that you've got money, and number two, you've got money waiting for you. You can send, that doesn't cost you a lot by way of exchange rates, right? Oh, yeah. So if I'm going to the Philippines, I would send myself money
waiting for you,
and it would be there waiting for me at the place, and I because everybody says, well, where's the best place to exchange money? And these guys have worked out a super uber lowest price competitive rate. So we'll talk about that in the next little bit as well. I know it is.
That's a cool deal.
Blake, thanks very much for coming in. You get something from Regine, let me know about it. That'd be great. 8:34 and headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming up next.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Their services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
And a note here, Kevin, from somebody that witnessed the accident that was part of the whole why Route 16 got shut down, from a listener on the WhatsApp. Second police squad car hit the third squad car. We witnessed the entire chase/arrest. And gee, if you got any video of that, I'd sure love to see it. And a reminder, when you send me something on the WhatsApp here for the point, you are sending it to Kevin Kerrigan. So if it ends up getting used on their website, or if they snatch a frame or something like that off of it, the presumption is you are willing to share it with us and the Guam Daily Post as well. 988-5874. It's 8:35 and time now for his last look at headlines. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. In district court yesterday, 50-year-old Gregorio Blas Cruz Jr. was given a reduced sentence of just 5 years, 8 months in prison after pleading guilty to possession of 306 grams of methamphetamine in 2 separate criminal cases. Federal Probation Office asked the court for leniency because Cruz accepted responsibility for the crimes and because of his extensive cooperation in a case that led to the seizure of nearly $2.3 million worth of methamphetamine. Gregorio Cruz testified against Justin Cruz, who was sentenced to 35 years in prison for possession of 4.5 kilograms of meth. According to court documents, Justin Cruz sent drugs in packages in the mail to Guam and conspired with others to pick them up and sell them here on island. Gregorio Cruz's attorney, Curtis Vandeveld, said with credit for time served, his client will spend less than 3 years in jail. Guam police have released few details about a 2-car collision yesterday afternoon that created bumper-to-bumper traffic along Route 16 Army Drive from the Department of Rev and Tax to the Barragata Post Office. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau said there were no injuries in that accident. A video making its way around social media shows a line of cars that stretch nearly 2 miles. And another video circulating on social media shows police apprehending a man wearing a safety vest standing near a white truck. The truck was still parked along Route 16 last evening. Police have not said whether the vehicle in the video is related to the accident. For the integrity of the case, Guam police will not disclose any information at this time, as it may be detrimental to the investigation, said Sergeant Tapau. Governor's office yesterday announcing it's aware of fake Facebook accounts claiming to be those of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. The fake accounts have been reported to the Guam Homeland Security Advisor, the government's Office of Technology, and Facebook for investigation. Neither Leon Guerrero nor Tenorio currently have an official Facebook page. If you receive a friend request or message from someone on Facebook claiming to be the governor or lieutenant governor, report them to Facebook and the Office of the Attorney General. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think it will. It's 8:38 in the morning, and now this current wave of speculation now, if it is the guy, you know, the bush cutters beat up the guy, stole his weed. What a tricky scenario. The guy reports his weed getting stolen. And now, in order to convict the thieves, he needs to implicate himself either in what might be. And the question is this person among the 73 folks that is on the list of people that are allowed to grow marijuana?
Well, it's a pretty short time frame for
I was
to grow that
yeah,
much.
to grow that much and then to be able to harvest that much. So
yeah, even if he were allowed to grow, I mean, to have that much. I mean, we're talking that. When I said easily 5 figures for what he had, I mean, really easily. I mean, we're looking at maybe 30,000 worth of stuff in the back of that truck.
I don't disagree. I think that's interesting stuff there. 888-8255-888-TALK. That's the telephone number around here. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. That's iConnect time. Swing by iConnect and learn what they can tell you about great and groovy plans for 2019. We got push to talk. We got mobile. We got internet. 888-8888.
Some people call her grossly undereducated for her position. Others dismiss her as a joke. I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, I'll tell you what we can learn about how to move a career forward from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Let's look at the traffic gizmo here today, and have not heard anything about any major accidents, backups, or any of that nonsense on the roadways. But let me just clarify with a quick look at the traffic gizmo and make sure that certainly is the case as you're driving around. Doesn't look like there's anything, as I point out. Marine Corps Drive looks like it's a clear shot all the way out of Gigo through Upper Tumon and then towards the Kmart area. Might be a little bit of traffic that you see coming out of Tumon up Route 7, but if there is, it'll clear by the time you get to St. John's. 10 and 15, always ready this time of day. A lot of traffic trying to get across Route 10, but that intersection is easily the worst one that we've got here on Guam. Mobile intersection by the University of Guam, not much better, but that looks like that line is moving short. 4 and 10, a little bit busy, but it'll clear up all the way into the downtown Hagåtña area. Beginning to build up in Hagåtña Heights? No, still clean up in front of Navy Hospital and Big Navy and Sumai. So that's what we got for you right now. Traffic here on The Point.
Security Title is honored to sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. In 2019, we resolved to continue our mission of protecting and ensuring the land and homes of our beautiful island. Additionally, we resolved to maintain our vital connection to our families and our community. Protehi Itinotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
In 19 minutes, it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK, and the word from somebody, almost an eyewitness account of what happened in Barragata Heights yesterday, suggesting that there were a bunch of guys that were there looking like they were bush cutting and noticed that client had marijuana, so they beat him up, stole the marijuana, and that was the point of his chase that took place yesterday on Route 16. And so she's suggesting everybody get yourself some kind of alarm system and video surveillance. I will not tell you exactly which one I have, but on Facebook Live I've posted a link to a company that I like very much. They're not very expensive, super easy to set up, and it will talk to your internet, and you can make it so that if somebody crosses its path, it will send you an email to let you know that there's somebody besides, who's supposed to be in the yard walking around. And it is a company called Anki. Very good customer service, and also available on Facebook, not Facebook, but Amazon.com.
I've trained my cat to be an attack cat.
Attack cat. And the cool thing about this one here is they've got a couple of different ways that you can do it. So you can let it use the Wi-Fi in the house, or you can use a system that's called, I forget the name. Riss, my friend Riss will tell you what it is. E over IP, which is electricity over IP, right?
Actually, over.
Is that am I using the correct acronym?
I think it's over Ethernet.
Ethernet or something.
Power over Ethernet.
PoE, yeah, PoE is the acronym. At any rate, a little bit closer to the microphone. I want everybody to see and hear what we've got going on. So this is Reese Yu, and he's with an outfit and an app, and it's called Exchanged. Yes. And I'm actually a member of this. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And this is his lovely bride, Edene, who's in the studio here this morning as well. And between the two of them, they've put together this great idea, mostly out of and I love this because you needed something like this yourself.
Yes, I did.
So in a nutshell, the way it works is it's an app that will hook up with your bank accounts here. And if you've got family and friends in the Philippines or yourself in the Philippines, we'll go through that process. You'll be able to, via the app, send money or remit money.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now this is not a new concept. They've got remittance shops all over the island, right?
Yes, we do, except this will be Guam's first online and mobile remittance.
Now,
so we have an app, we have websites. You can access your account through all those.
Very, very interesting dashboards and things like that as well. So what is it? But what's wrong with the existing system? Why do we need to modernize this? Why do we need to appize it?
So with the existing system, you have to pretty much you have to get your money. You have to drive to a remittance center. You have to make sure that they're open. And you have to fall in line. If it's a holiday or whatnot and they're closed, they decide to close, you really don't have an option. And you're also kind of held by whatever exchange rate they have at that time. You have no way to choose when you want to send it to. So what we've done is, as you say, we appized it. So it's everything. It's an app. It's available on iOS and Android, and you can access. If you don't want to download those, you can access it from the website.
Right. Well, and we'll give you all of that.
Yes.
In fact, I might. It's exchanged.me.
Yes. So it's www.xchanged.me.
Wait, spell that again.
www.xchanged.
Wait, I forgot the C. HANGED. Exchanged.me. Okay. So now the reason exchanged and it's .me. How come it's not .com? Why is it? Where'd you get ME? Where's that?
Oh, good question.
It's a very uncommon last name, but basically it works here because you're exchanging me. And keep track of the different ways of spelling. There may be apps that have EX, but ours is X. CHANGED.me. And so I put the link on the Facebook Live as well. So you click on that and you should be able to go and see.
And the app looks something like this. Yeah.
So in order to get set up, and like I said, I've done this before. It'll take you, I don't know, 5 minutes. Once you get to the app, you go to the website. It asks some of the usual questions and security questions and et cetera. It'll ask you about your, what you want to use to be able to fund these exchanges. And then once you've got that in there, then it's just a question of opening your wallet. Almost literally, but very figuratively online, opening your wallet and deciding who you want to send money to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now we were talking to you, just for the convenience of it, because you can do this anytime you want to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But it's got to be convenient for the person on the other side too, right? So if you send a remittance now using the old brick and mortar systems, if you send it to somebody in the Philippines, as an example, what process do they have to go through in order to get that remittance?
So when you send it using the remittance centers, one thing, it's not immediate, and if you're not sure where your remittance at, you have to call them.
Mhm.
There's no way to track your remittance. There's also no way to know if they've picked it up. With our system, you can actually track your remittance.
Mhm.
So you can go online. You don't even have to call anyone. You can track your remittance when all the stores are closed, when it's like 12 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah.
and then you just say, hey, has my beneficiary gotten it? So you can...
It's not like there's anything to do in Manila at midnight either.
Well, no. You just want to... Well, there could be.
There
could
could
be.
You know, is it Sticky Fingers? What's the name of the restaurant in Greenbelt? Is Sticky Fingers or Greasy Fingers or I don't know. Great band. They got a great band in there that does killer 80s tunes. I'm sorry, I digress. But I'm going to pay this guy with the killer 80s tunes at the Sticky Fingers in Greenbelt, right? And so almost any time, day or night, he will be able to go to the remittance center. I want to say you should be able to see it. And can I send it to a bank account in his name?
Yes, you can.
We can do that now.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so they can either go, and there's like 50,000 places in all of the Philippine Islands where you'll be able to go and pick up your money, right?
10,000 places.
I was rounding up. I was rounding up from 10,000. And so, what's it cost to remit? Because I think the system now is there is a percentage. So if I want to send $1,000, they would charge me a percentage of that $1,000.
Most remittances charge around $6 as a starting rate.
Yeah.
For up to maybe 1,000.
Okay.
And for ours, it's $5. So there's a couple of ways to send your money. So you can send your money. I mean, your beneficiary can pick up your money using cash pickup, so they can just go and get their cash without having a bank account.
Mhm.
They can also send it to the bank account. So let's break it down a little bit. So for cash pickup, as you said, there's 10,000 locations where they can pick it up. There's Palawan Pawn Shop, RD Pawn Shop, Robinson's Department Store, Villarica Pawn Shop, Cebuana, Global Access, Gcash. They can pick it up. Oh, and also, of course, PNB branches, because we are powered by PNB.
Yeah, a big distinction here. So, Philippine National Bank, it's not a small mom and pop fly by night. This is a major bank, and they got branches everywhere. And I want to say very sophisticated methods for people to be able to even access, not necessarily for the exchange program, but if you want to check your account or you want to move things from one place to another. I know they've got these really sophisticated digital systems. It's like Fort Knox, so the money is super, super safe. So, but you're working with PNB, and as you said, branches all over the place. And so I'd be able to remit money directly into my friend's bank account, or he'd be able to go to any one of these locations. I want to say there's some of them are drugstores and other pawn shops.
Pawn shops, and the only one that isn't a pawn shop is probably just the banks.
Yeah,
like PNB banks and Robinson's Department Store. That's not it.
So PNB is also they're the exchanged agency, right?
They're the conduit. They're our backbone, basically.
So if I buy here, and I'm looking around at the different rates at the remittance centers, the airports, and the different exchange counters, the PNB rate, in my mind, should be the cheapest.
We actually don't follow their rate.
Oh?
Yes, we don't. Do
you have your own? Is there a special rate? Do we have a special exchanged rate?
Our exchange rates are very competitive. So you can go around, compare us to the local remittance centers. You'll see that our online rate, our physical location rate, we are competitive with everybody else. And for the fee itself, we are also cheaper because we start at, actually, when you're sending to a PNB account, since we're partnered with them, it's only $3 to start.
Yeah.
So up to $1,000, you're sending money, it's only $3. Now, if you go over that, we have a tiering system where every 1,000 above that is $1 extra. For other banks, it starts at $5. For cash pickup, it also starts at $5. So at our starting point, we are lower than any of the
just on the fee side, and a very, very competitive exchange rate. So in my mind, it was don't bother shopping around, because I'm the guy that flies into Manila with no money at all, and will unfortunately exchange at the hotel counter, which is absolutely the worst place in the world to do the exchange. So in this case, now as a business traveler to the Philippines, what I would do is I would set myself up with with the account, and I would have it draw against my checking account here, and then remit money to myself. So when I get to Manila, and I want to say if I'm staying over at New World, where is the nearest PNB? Where's the nearest branch of the PNB? Now this is another feat. I'm gonna be very, very proud of this. I'm gonna take pride of authorship because I've been asking that question, and for me, because I don't know Manila very, very well, and anybody that's traveled with me knows this. There might be a PNB in the back of the hotel, and I would never know. So I said, what you need to do is have a map. So there is a map, and you can focus on where you are and find out where the nearest remittance center is going to be.
Yes.
That way you go, okay, I'm staying over at the New World, and right around the corner from the New World, she's looking for it now. Have you found it? Did you find the nearest PNB?
Actually, inside the app, we have payout partners. There's a link for payout partners. Once you click on that, you'll see a list of all the payout partners. I think it's better if I show you guys.
Okay. Well, you give that a shot. They're looking it up. Again, you can find it on the World Wide Web. It is capital XCHANGED.ME, and that's what I want you to look for on your app stores, iOS or your regular apps, your Android app store, and it is a free download and not going to cost you anything. Sign up takes, like I said, about 5 minutes to get into this, and at that point, you ought to be able to send money to virtually everybody you know in the Philippines.
As soon as you find your e-wallet, you can send to anyone.
Is there a maximum? Is there a limit as to how much you can send?
For cash pickup, it's capped at 3,000. For other banks or PNB accounts, for any bank account, basically, it's capped at 5,000.
At 5,000. Is that a per day limitation, or is it?
It's
how
as
do they
much
figure that out?
money as you have in your account.
Okay, because I'm curious, because there might be some people that might want to fund businesses and use this as a way to move significant capex dollars between here and there.
Yes, there's actually no issue with that if you want to fund a business.
Yeah.
The only thing is, if it's a big amount or if there's some, if it's out of your normal activity, we might ask more questions just to verify where you got the money from.
So we're not doing a laundering thing.
Exactly. No. We are trying to guard against that. That's a FinCEN requirement. That's a FinCEN rule. So we are trying to abide by the law for everything.
As I said, this started out as personal need. I mean, because when you do traveling back and forth to the Philippines, and it's like, Mom, where's the best place to get money? And Mom got tired of answering.
Exactly. So I moved to Guam maybe 5 years ago, and so I started working here. My money is all in Guam, but I had a lot of relatives in the Philippines. So every time I'd go visit them, I need peso, because for some reason, a lot of establishments in the Philippines still haven't gotten to the credit card stage. Everybody wants cash.
Yeah.
So then I'd ask my mom, okay, Mom.
We don't have to pay for the credit card. I mean, the credit card companies charge them fees, and a lot of businesses, especially in the Philippines, the margins are razor thin. They don't want to have to pay the discount back to the credit card company.
Exactly. So I had a hard time getting cash, and I would exchange it with my family members, but of course, you can't tell your family members, hey, the rate is 52 X amount. They're going to just tell you, hey, this is how much I have. Take it or leave it. Just give me X dollars. You can't barter with them. You can't negotiate.
Yeah, that's Bank of Mom.
You can't negotiate. So whatever they have, that's what they give you, and you just give them a set amount of dollars. There's you got to get it to your family members.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, that was the thing. And if they didn't have enough money, so you ask them, okay, I need 20,000. I only have 10,000.
Yeah,
that's all you get.
And at the take it or leave it price, and then you got to go bug somebody else in the next bedroom. Say, how much money do you have?
On the other hand, you can also not do that. You can bring your cash in, and that will cap you at. I think you can't bring over 10,000, right? So you might bring 9,000 at most. You'd bring it around, and you'd have to find a money changer. Now, everybody knows that for money changers, as you get closer to a more convenient location, the price also kind of goes up or dips really bad for you.
There's 8:56 in the morning, and we've got just enough time. I want to make sure that everybody knows, number one, that this exists, and that if you've got family and friends in the Philippines, or if you're going to the Philippines, the convenience factor just went up 1 billion times here, because you don't have to worry about changing money. The exchange rate here, or the exchange rate when you get to Manila, you don't have to worry about what it's going to cost you at the hotel. You can literally send money to yourself and get a super competitive rate, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. What, $3 if you're sending it just to an account, right?
Yes.
So make it really, really easy on yourself with exchange.me. Now, by way of enticing you to download and try the product, you've got a promotion with
Yes, we
Resorts
do.
World.
We actually have 2 promotions.
Yeah.
So the first promotion is $1 to remit. What that means is if you just want to try the service, or if you're not going to be sending a lot of money, you want to just send allowance, $100, $50, $80, there's no reason for you to
just say allowance for $50, $100. And I'm sorry.
Or just
it
to
depends
pay
where
someone.
in the Philippines that's going to work at, because the people are fond of saying, "Oh yeah, it's so cheap in the Philippines." They're not talking about Makati. Makati is like San Francisco in some places. But
Yes.
I'm sorry, go on.
So for those amounts, like up to $100, and if you're going to get it for cash pickup, or you're sending to a PNB account, it's only $1. You just have to use the promo code, and the promo code is $2, the number 2, remit.
Easy.
There's a promo code field whenever you're doing your remittance, and that's where you enter it, and it'll automatically change your fee to just $1.
And so in the use of that now, we are now entered in a contest.
Yes, we are. So that brings me to the second promotion. The second promotion is called Remit and Fly. So from October, starting to around May 2, all remittances will be included in a raffle draw.
Cool.
So the winner gets everybody gets a chance to win a trip for 2
airplane
to the
ride.
Philippines, airplane ride from Philippine Airlines, and also 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights stay in Belmont Hotel.
I know the
in
place.
Resorts World, Manila.
I know the place well. There's a swimming pool on top, and they start serving beer at 8.
Wow.
No, a friend told me. No, my friend, honest, told me that there was, and so I just thought I'd plug that in there like I know what I'm talking about. But Belmont's got there's a McDonald's on one side, and if you walk up the street, then you are at Maxim's, and you might be able to do some gambling. And my guess is there is probably also a remittance place there, someplace where you might be able to pick up your money. Isn't there a bank on the just before the escalators, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's very accessible.
You know what you got? But the thing is, you got to get past the ladies with the little face creams. This is another something I heard from a friend, but I think it's right there. It's a great plan. It's not going to cost you hardly anything. Not going to cost you anything to register yourself.
Yes.
A little bit of information about your banking here, your friends banking over there, and you ought to start being able to remit today. I think it's going to be fun. Now you guys are opening up something over at iConnect here. You've got a little kiosk there,
that's
right?
our main location. So if you want to visit us, ask questions, that's where we're at.
Okay, got
inside
it.
the Iconic building.
Right on. All right, Reese, Adonis, thanks so much for coming by here today. And if you've got more questions, let me know, and I will put you in touch with them. In the meantime, remember, it's XChange.me on the World Wide Web. Sign up today. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. Haggadah. Fox News Live is coming up next.
In the final stretch, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The House and Senate could take up the spending bill tomorrow that would avoid a government shutdown, but the measure provides far less funding for the border wall than President Trump had asked for. As the president says, the border wall is being built.
And it's a big wall. It's a strong wall. It's a wall that people aren't going through very easy. They're going to have to be in extremely good shape to get over this one. They would be able to climb Mount Everest a lot easier, I think.
If no deal is reached by midnight Friday, the government could shut down. A new Fox poll looks at how concerned people are with border security. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, favor for building a border wall is slightly up to 46% from 43% a month ago. A vast majority of those who responded, 66%, say any border security deal must fund not only a barrier but other security measures as well as humanitarian aid. If the president is still considering declaring a national emergency to get wall funding, many who took part in this poll are not with him. 56% oppose such a move, and while 63% consider the border wall a major problem, it's not most of concern. Almost 9 of every 10 respondents say opioid addiction is America's biggest problem, Lisa.
Gernal FEMA Administrator Brock Long stepping down after nearly 2 years at his post.
An inspector general's report released late last year
found that long-used government vehicles and staff on 40 trips for personal reasons, including during a family vacation in Hawaii, despite official warnings the practice was unauthorized.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Wall Street at the close, stocks extending their gains as investors remain optimistic that the U.S. and China will make more progress in resolving the trade dispute. The Dow added 117, the NASDAQ edged up 5. This is Fox News.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this ultimate meatball marinara made with ultimate cheesy garlic bread. Melted mozzarella, parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
One of the fugitives on the FBI's infamous list of most wanted men believed to have been killed during a raid in North Carolina.
FBI agents say a man shot to death in the middle of a raid on a motel room in the Raleigh suburb of Apex, North Carolina, is likely a man listed on their 10 most wanted fugitives list. They're waiting to positively identify the dead man as Greg Allen Carson, who was wanted for multiple crimes, including a sexual assault committed last fall. While the agents won't say gunfire was exchanged, the deceased person was armed. They had been tracking Carlson in the Carolinas, Alabama, and Florida for some time. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
The Food and Drug Administration says they weren't able to identify the source for a food poisoning outbreak linked to romaine lettuce last fall. Denver teachers moving closer to a deal with the district on day 3 of their strike.
Teachers still marched and picketed outside of Denver schools, but both sides are apparently moving a bit closer to a deal. Discussions have included reworking how teachers can move into a new lane, so to speak, a salary lane, based on how much outside study they do. But base salary is still the big issue. Teachers are arguing for less incentive pay to go to certain teachers at certain schools, because which schools get those incentives is too unpredictable, they argue. They're saying more of that incentive money should be reserved to go to overall salaries. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A lawyer for 21 Savage says the Grammy-nominated rapper has been released from an immigration detention center in South Georgia on a $100,000 bond. The rapper was arrested February 3rd for overstaying his visa, and he has a felony conviction. His lawyers say he was brought to the U.S. as a child, and his visa expired through no fault of his own. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Yep. 5 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and it is the morning. Valentine's morning, as a matter of fact. We haven't lingered on that concept for very long, have we, this morning? Just a couple of things that we threw out a little bit earlier, but we haven't lingered on Valentine's and all the cool to do. I might do it now. I might do it now, because there's just a limited amount of time that you'll be able to take advantage of this. Oh, what the heck is that? What kind of rumor is that floating around? Hold on, I'll get to that in a minute. Cold Stone wants you to dream in pink. It's a brand new kind of Valentine's cake that they've got there. Pink strawberry ice cream, that's the basis of this, because after all, it's Cold Stone. That's what they do, is ice cream. Then they do dreamy cheesecake bites. Not butt cakes. Cheesecake. So save the butt cakes for after you eat it. Strawberry puree and moist red velvet cake. Now, this is a Valentine's Day cake made special for you and your special somebody. Order today. Reservations are limited, so one for that, one special one, and another one for the other special one. Dreamin' in Pink is new from Cold Stone Creamery. Super premium ice cream made fresh every day.
Laddie Stone Entertainment and the stations of Choice Broadcasting invite you to a sexy sleepwear soiree. Join us on Friday, February 15th at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Doors open at 7 and $15 get you your first drink and some poo-poos. It's a sexy sleepwear soiree, so come dressed in your PJs or your lingerie and party with the 2019 Miss and Mrs. Kirby contestants with a lingerie fashion show and cash prizes for the cutest, the sexiest, and the best couple. It's the Miss and Mrs. Kirby pageant sexy sleepwear soiree with Pipple Empire, local promos, One Punch Media, Sidelines Bar and Grill, Island Lux, The Hive, and Figure 8.
Portions of the program also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. The dudes over at Guam Regional Medical City, they do the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. That's what they do. And APL is shipping the future.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Another one. So you got a little watch party going on Facebook Live. I got two different things going on. I've got the Facebook Live feed that goes to The Point and that web, that part of Facebook. But then Ray Gibson, that's me, not The Point, is also throwing a watch party. So I got a couple of different things going on and a couple of different places for me to get commentary from people. On the watch party commentary, Rebecca Salazar was listening and heard me struggling for the name of the restaurant in Greenbelt that I like to go to. There's a place my brother and I like to go there, and I forget what the name of that one is, but it's like tapas or something like that. And yeah, I think that's the name of it. And they've got these like super. They do stuff there with garlic and shrimp that'll change your life, right? It's so good. And then Spicy Fingers is the name. There's two different versions of it. There's like an outdoor bar part, which is very trendy, and then you've got an indoor bar and restaurant that they've got there. And I've been there on nights with a band. I swear to God, you close your eyes and it's like you're listening to Boy George. You close your eyes just like you're listening to The Cure and New Order and stuff. And they do this incredible 80s sound that I cannot get enough of when I'm there. 9 after 9, and then my friend Rochelle Lynn Santos Camacho is online. She does a lot of traveling, and I know her from conversations that we've had on Facebook. And so I asked her, I said, are you in frozen Washington State, where she generally lives, or in frozen Vegas, where she generally plays? And the answer is, it's a snow day in Washington. We had no classes last Monday and Tuesday, 2-hour late start Wednesday, regular start Thursday, early release Friday, and no classes again Monday through Wednesday, 2-hour late start tomorrow, and our midwinter break Friday through Monday. So those kids ain't getting educated in Washington State. It's cold there, babe. Cold. So that's the deal. Nice to see you there. And a couple of other conversations that I wanted to riff on from Facebook Live for The Point. Eddie Cruz says he just heard that Ray Gibson was chosen as Guam's most handsome man. Oh, stop it. Some more. Stop. Some more. There's Jennifer Quebec-Not Rivera Seni is on, and Richard Yu is there watching the kids. Felitan Valencia, Kevin Uggan, Joanne Cruz, nice to see you there. Evelyn Uggan, Bobby Titano, Diana Rose, also enjoying snow days and unfortunately lonely snow nights in frozen Washington State. Paulie Blas, nice to see you there. Jerry Lau is online. If you're there, you'll see Jerry Lau and Renee Lau. Fact is that they are brothers, and my understanding from Renee is that it is Jerry's birthday today. Is that correct? Let me just look in the app, and I got an app that shows me whose birthday it is anywhere around the world. It's like Santa Claus's naughty and nice list. Yeah, Jerry.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Jerry Valentin Lau, his birthday is today, here tomorrow in Arizona, where he is listening to the broadcast from. So it's nice. Happy birthday to you. Sahara Defensor was online, and I'm sorry, probably disappointed because we didn't have a chance to bring up Congressman Mike Cruz at all yet this morning. But you know what the heck, we might be able to do something like that. We just find an issue and see if this is something that maybe Congress can chime in on. Hey Ken, how you doing there?
It may take an act of Congress to chime in on this one, because yesterday, courtesy of a famous talk show station, I had to go to EPOW to pick up a ticket.
Yeah.
I went there at 3 o'clock, picked up the ticket, and I had to go to the restroom. And since the restroom was just close to the ticket van, I walked over there. And when I walked in on a Japanese woman squatting and urinating in front of the woman's bathroom that was padlocked. She was very embarrassed and pulled up her bottoms and ran out very quickly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, here it is, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Supposedly, according to the Guam Visitors Bureau, we had a record tourism month.
Yeah, I don't think that woman's coming back.
Yeah, I don't think she's coming back either. I mean, how hard is it to keep the bathrooms open in the premier beach on the island, One that was very heavily populated with tourists.
Oh, I got a thing. I do this as often as I can. I'm a fan for a Whopper, so every once in a while I'll go down to the Burger King that they've got down there and get a Whopper and some fries and a soda. And I'm not fond of eating inside places. So what my favorite thing to do is to take my Whopper with me, and I'd take it down to Teepow Beach, roll the windows down, got the radio cranked up, and listen to Boss or something, and then eat my Whopper while I watch the passing parade. You got the Japanese tourists, the Korean tourists, the locals down there, just everybody taking advantage of an awesome location. But I've never decided to take a nature break down there because I figured the place is going to be locked. The place is going to be locked. I've taken more nature breaks down there in the boondocks, if you will.
Well, I mean, we know up there at Umatic at the Overlook, the bathrooms are the ironwood trees behind the bathroom. Because every time I've gone up there, because I have.
This is a great idea. No, Jim Bonanno's online, and he just chimed in. He says, no surprise, only one working bathroom, and it was by the entrance to EPOW. Ironic, because GVB is right there. This is what we ought to do. Ken, this is a brilliant idea. We'll get some signs made, a bunch of them, because they're going to take them down every day, which say, bathroom out of order. Use the bathrooms at GVB.
And you know what will happen? They'll put a lock on the door at GBB, and you have to have a mag card to get into it.
I'm just saying, maybe it's going to take that. That needs to be a deal. We're talking about the hospitality industry here on Guam, and earlier, Kazendo on the watch party page was asking, why can't we come up with other ideas that will generate revenue without the need of gambling? Plenty of ideas out there, and I know that there are groups of people. We've talked about LGBT tourism. Because if you look at the LGBT community, for the most part, I think about all the gay guys that I know, they dress well. They eat top-of-the-end restaurants, top-of-the-line restaurants. I've never seen them order anything with well drinks in them. It's all call when they do it. I've never seen them looking in their wallet going, no, I got to split, I'm tapped out. They've all got money, no kids, right? I'm generalizing a little bit. And for the most part, they clean and pretty up the place. So I'm thinking that's what we've got to do is we've got to be attractive. The lesbian community, the gay community, bisexual community, whatever it is that's going to bring out this this crowd, huh? But I don't want to do it until we've kind of prettied our place up. We got too many trashed out, tourist destinations.
Yeah.
And we've got, and this is a big complaint here, is the bathrooms are locked up or they don't work.
Yeah. That is a major problem.
So, you invite these members of the LGBT community and they're tight. They talk to each other. right? And so if they say, oh, you come to Guam, Guam's going to be an awesome place, it's going to be groovy, get to Guam, and you're going to have an awesome time. And when they get here, and if the restaurants aren't up to par, if the facilities aren't up to par, if this is not just the best destination they've ever been to, we will be condemned. They will try us on Twitter and on Facebook and all of the gay travel pages.
Well, study after study in the era of marketing has pointed out that the most powerful form of advertising is word of mouth. It's been proven in study after study, and in the work I did in the mainland as a consultant, you know, I saw that verified time and time again. You know, you go to a store that has no advertising budget, but they are busting records month after month.
Yeah.
It's because they do good service. They don't need to advertise, you know. Remember KC Drive-In? Do you remember KC Drive-In?
In Hawaii?
Yeah. They never advertised, but they were always packed. They always had lines, and they were going gangbusters until someone came and put a checkbook to the owner's head and forced him to sell and build a hotel, you know? But until that day, you never saw an advertisement for two companies, Magoo's Pizza and KC Drive-In, you know, because they did such a great job that word of mouth carried those businesses far beyond. And here, look at the word of mouth. Even the Guam Visitor Bureau's own surveys, you know, when they do the exit surveys on tourists, what do we see most often?
Need to clean the place up.
Complaints about the cleanliness.
Yeah.
I went down to the legislature just last week sometime. I forget what was happening, but I was down there. And when I was down there, there was some Korean tourists that had parked behind me, and they were starting to go over to the cathedral area. Mm-hmm. And a homeless person reeking of alcohol was trying to charge them money to have their picture taken with him, you know, and he was pursuing them and trying to get them to give him $5 to have their picture taken with him. They got in the car and drove off.
Round them up.
Yeah, there's 4 tourists right there that are going to tell great stories when they get back to South Korea, you know. And we know one Japanese tourist from yesterday. How many other tourists were trying to go to the bathroom during the entire day, only to have the facility? I mean, Epau Beach was packed.
Yeah, you kind of got to know where to go, if you will. I do some training at the Paseo, and the other day I needed a nature break at the Paseo, and so I thought, where am I going to go? And I knew that whatever facility that they had at the top of the Paseo, near the Statue of Liberty, whatever facilities they had there were going to be closed. And so I went to the one place where I knew that there would be an open bathroom, and that is Jamaican Grill.
Well, down there by the Statue of Liberty, the bathroom is standing between 2 cars. I mean, I can't count how many times when I did my walk around there, back in my walking days, I'd be walking around Paseo, and you come around Statue of Liberty, you know, that parking lot down there, there'd be all these cars of fishermen in there, and there'd be all these coolers of beer, and there'd be fishermen making room for more beer standing between 2 parked cars.
Yep, and then you've got all of the vagrants that are down there and drinking all day, and no place to throw their trash because there are no trash cans, because they've decided we can't have trash cans there because people are going to bring their home trash to our parks and fill up the trash cans. So we're taking all of the trash cans out. You might be able to go to one of the prettiest spots in the downtown Agutnia area, and it is a testimony to the vision that Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio had to create this little iconic living Guam seal down there. And there are always people taking pictures. You would think that somebody would put a trash can down there. There is no trash can there. There is a trash bag. Somebody put a trash bag down there. And I suppose it's better than nothing. But I bristle at our inability to be able to clean up after the people that are down there. I'm not, you know, and we've got to do a better job of getting the vagrants and the drinkers, the day drinkers out of there. We just need more enforcement, and it's got to get done.
I'm about to disclose a secret to you, and I hope nobody's listening to it.
Okay, good.
Apparently, the secret trash can and the secret latrine at the plaza is between the hibiscus bushes and the old Spanish wall next to the parking lot facing the Angel Santos Park.
I'll bet it smells lovely. And we've heard complaints about Angel Santos Park as well. Guys, the underscore from this entire conversation is that Guam is starting to look like hell. And we've had, I mean, even when there was a beautification task force, this was several people's jobs for several hours a day was to find these locations and try to get them cleaned up. I know it's a new administration, and I know that Lou and Josh are on the Gov Guam World Tour, but at some point somebody has got to very, very seriously take a look at this. Otherwise, they'll just stop coming. People think that the Japanese aren't coming to Guam anymore because it's cheaper to go to Hawaii. Yeah, that's a part of it. But why would you come to Guam? You know, after hearing testimony and, you know, after hearing from your friends and the lousy word of mouth that we're getting. And again, I'll make this point. I made it to the real Governor Leon Guerrero on the air yesterday, and it was basically, listen, it's not like the old days where we knew what route these guys were going to be going. We've got you know, there's 75,000 tourists a month that are driving themselves. And they're getting lost in some of our crappier villages. So the mayors need to step up. The residents need to step up.
Yeah, we're in danger of losing our emergency fund from GVB, and if we lose the emergency fund, we won't be able to fund any casinos. You know?
You know, pretty soon it's just going to. You know what's going to be left here? We aren't going to have any tourists here. We're going to have the military that are going to do all of their stuff on base and behind the gates. Only the brave ones will come out into our restaurants, and then they'll go back onto the base. And then all we're going to be left with is a bunch of drunks and homeless people.
Well, that's the problem they're having in Hawaii right now, because I saw a study there where they did a survey, and the thing that was alarming to them is that the majority of tourists that they surveyed were first-time tourists. Hawaii depends on the repeat tourism market, because first-time tourists, their spend is low. It's the repeat tourists that instead of going to the cheap hotels, go to the more luxurious hotels. Instead of going to Foodland, they go to restaurants. Those are the second and third and fourth visits. The first visits are the ones that stay 5 to a room and eat at Foodland. and the reasons that they are citing is, number one, traffic. Number two, homeless people, vagrants, and the smell. And I saw that the last time, I smelled that the last time I was in Honolulu, when I was walking down my old home. I used to live on Kuhio Avenue. And you walk down Kuhio Avenue, and it smells like San Francisco around the City Hall. And that's not a good smell.
No, there's obviously work that needs to get done, and we can go from one anecdote to the other, to the other, to the other, and so there's work. Somebody's got to roll up their sleeves, and instead of coming up with a plan, all of the great plans are there. All of the great plans are there. They've been in statute for years, and we just got to start enforcing stuff. You know, there's the what do they call it? The Hawking legislation that Adolfo Palacios had put together while he was a senator, and this is a good piece of legislation, and nobody is enforcing it. We got all these people standing around strip joints and restaurants down in Tumon. These are not, and the worst thing is, I'm thinking that the Japanese come here and go, oh, those are locals. They're not locals. They're not from here, and but they're out there. You know, they're hawking and they're getting in people's face. You know, I've seen these guys go up to families trying to get them to go into their strip joint.
Yeah,
and so there's another problem that we can address it. But we need the guys to do it. Somebody has got to do it, and move them off. Now I know that we've got the guys on the bikes, right? Those guys who are supposed to be rolling around there and enforcing it. I don't know. Either they're seen too easily, and the hawkers will go inside for 5 minutes and wait till they're gone and go back out and do it again. But
when you look at how much a government of Guam revenue is depending on the tourism, and here at the time we have the governor, I'm going to throw $30 million at Guam Memorial. I'm going to fully fund the police department. I'm going to fully fund Department of, and she's going to fully fund everything. But where is she going to get the funds if our tourism dries up? Because outside the federal government, the number one source of revenue for the government in Guam is
the hospitality business. I get it. 9:25. Listen, I'm going to let you run. It's always fun talking with you, Ken. You got my blood up now. You got my blood up. It's kind of crazy that way. I'll leave it at this. And you know, how is it that you know, we're having a hard time with these guys, and we're putting up with the hawking down in Tumon. We're putting up with the vagrants and the day drinkers on the beaches and in the pavilions, and the reason is because nobody's going to jail. Yeah, my dad used to tell a story about this bar. It was back in the 70s. He was a reserve police officer, and they said they'd gone into the bar 3 times to put down fights, and finally got called in for a 4th. And the guy that was running dispatch at the police department said, "This time, arrest somebody. Just we're not putting the fight down. We're coming in to arrest people now. That's what you got to do. Somebody needs to go to jail. When we start getting people, there's an infraction here. You've broken the law. Oh, okay. Are you going to write me a ticket? Are you going to lecture me? No, I'm putting you in handcuffs. You're going to jail because you broke the law. Are there, you know, what are the laws here? And especially in cases where people have been spoken to several times about it. At some point, we just, you know, get the police officer. I'm not going to write you a citation. Get in the back of the car, and I'm taking you downtown. Now, it might turn out to be one of those things where the Attorney General's office is going to look the other way. Look, we've got other bigger fish to fry. And hit them with some kind of a fine that they're not going to be able to pay or whatever. But the point is, when people see other people getting put in the back of squad cars with their hands behind their back and the chrome bracelets, it might get people to thinking that there is some kind of enforcement, and I better start walking the line. Somebody got to go to jail.
Yeah, anytime I ever fought, I went to jail. Oh, wait, did I put that on my application?
No, I didn't see that there in the thing. So there's lots of different ways that we can attack this problem, but the majority of the ways that we need to attack it have already been sorted out. We've got it figured out. All we got to do is start enforcing some law. And Eddie's pointing out, I was talking about the military. So that's what we're going to be left with when the tourists stop coming, when they realize what a lousy destination that some parts of Guam have turned themselves into. Because if you just stayed if you came to Guam and arrived at night, and then they took you to say the Outrigger, nice spot, Dusitani, nice spot. If all you did was like I said, you come in at night, so you can't see that god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence. You come in at night on the bus or the rent-a-car, you pull into your spot at the hotel, and you just stay there in the hotel, and you just kind of walk around the Tumon Pleasure Island area. Guam is an awesome destination. Yeah. It's just terrific. It's beautiful, and there's great restaurants all over the place, and there's cool people, and there's Korean hot pants, and there's chicks in bikinis. It's righteous, right? Yeah. But you get out within about a half mile.
Half mile.
Yeah,
that's about
and
it.
It's a whole other world, and there's a lot more tourists that are venturing out a half mile. And lots of different places that they're going to these days. I mean, I'm in the village, Roy T. Demion Street, and I'm seeing rent-a-cars. Right? You know, is there some place? Is there a destination in the back there? Hey, I know what. Maybe Lujan's Wreckers. Maybe Lujan Wreckers is on the list of must-see destinations here on Guam. Whatever it is, these people are getting lost in the villages, and they're looking around in the villages and going, how do people live like this?
One of the scary things that I see quite often from my ghetto hotel there is the visitors walking the streets of where I live in the middle of the night, in the early morning hours. They have no idea how dangerous it is that they're doing right there. And so, you know, if the police are listening, y'all might want to get out there like in the early morning hours.
You know, the cops know, and they're the least of our problems. The police officers are the least of the problems. There's so many other people, I think, that are looking the other way and not letting it get done. Cops know what the deal is, but I think they're frustrated with it as well because there's this revolving door. And
yeah, I just think they need to be nearby so they can help if something happens.
There used to be over by the Sheraton. Over by the Sheraton, there used to be a police Koban there.
Yeah, well, I guess it's gone.
I
don't see any police over there until something happens, and then they come like 4 at a time.
Transfer Department of Parks and Rec, including the park rangers, to GVB. Let GVB build one small building at each park. Half is a set of bathrooms. The other is space for a small shop or food stand. Tape applications for the businesses. The lease on the business is only upkeep of the restrooms and keeping trash out of the parks. I was pondering, because I like to ponder. It's what I do. It's what I do best. I'm sitting on a chair, watching the neighborhood, got a cold one by my side and a bottle of Pringles on the other. And I'll ponder. And I was pondering the concept of, you know what, one of the big problems that we have with the maintenance and upkeep of the restrooms is, in order to let the tourists in, we have to let everybody else in. And not everybody, apparently, that we have around here has any concept of indoor plumbing or aiming or flushing. So we got to find a way to keep those guys out. And I hate to segregate the population like this, but it occurs to me that there might be a way to do something like this, where when we get somebody that comes in, and they're visitors, every visitor gets a card. Every visitor gets a card, like a hotel key card, and they'll be. We support it with advertising on one side of the card, and it puts some handy numbers that you need for, I don't know, Korean taxi or, the 911 pizza company. You put something like that on the other side of the card. Now, the card has RFID on it, and you use the card the same way that you use the card in the hotel, right? You get this card, but it will open up the door to the bathroom.
Right.
So the only people that can use the bathroom are the people that have these cards, i.e. tourists, or a tour guide, somebody that's got the credentials from the Guam Visitors Bureau. I'm the tour guide, and I got a tourist, and she got to hit the bathroom, so I'll be able to open the door and then let her in, and door automatically locks when she's all done. Maybe something along those lines. I mean, the technology is not that difficult to overcome. And then, we'd be able to get some research and surveillance, which are our most popular parks, how many tourists are visiting on a regular basis, and stuff that you'd be able to glean based on their nature breaks that they take. Speaking of taking a break, not necessarily for nature, those of you that are watching will watch me sit right here for the entire time that we do. But maybe you need a nature break, so we'll take a quick one and then come back and then figure out how I'm going to kill the rest of the hour here. It's 9:32, 9:33, and that's iConnect time. Run by iConnect and learn about the incredible plans, push-to-talk, PTT, push-to-talk plans, like a radio, but it's got a phone in it. How cool is that? And they're the only ones that do it at iConnect.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic dill pickles and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Time to go over a couple of things and a couple of other messages. Rachel Lynn Santos says, can you make a shout-out to my Mully? Happy 21st anniversary to Jeff and Christine St. Nicholas, and happy Valentine's Day to you. Aw, isn't that nice? Well, while I'm thinking about it, happy anniversary to Pop and Terry Gibson. My father, my late father, and my stepmother would be celebrating their anniversary today. We'll be doing it tomorrow. Light a candle, would you? And she also has a point here. We're talking about dirty bathrooms and things like that, inaccessible bathrooms, broken bathrooms. She says we have a website for our city called Tequila Works. I think it's pronounced Tequila, right? Anyway, so we report any problems, and the city of Tequila follows through. The mayor is also responsible for the city. We had Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes when she was a senator a few years ago. She had one of those apps, like a Tattler app. And if you saw something that was broken or dangerous, you take a picture of it, you send it, and then the app. The people that administered the app were supposed to take that and send it to, I don't know, Parks and Rec or DPW or DOE or whoever the responsible party was. And for whatever reason, it didn't work. I sent 3 or 4 things in. And number one, never got any indication that the 3 or 4 things I got were even noticed by anybody. And they apparently weren't, because my guess is those issues are still there. If I go take a look at it. So I don't know. The thing about Tequila, if I remember my geography out there, is that's not the slummy part of Washington. So you guys in the city and the state probably have access. Big taxes on everything there. You probably got access to departments and agencies that do more than just employ people. As in we actually expect some kind of results. There we go, results. We have expectations that there are going to be results. Eddie says, you don't want to discriminate, let the businesses do that. They retain the right to refuse services. We as the public don't want that kind of issues that we discriminate. I'm just saying, Ed, you know who I'm talking about. There's people for, their trip to Guam is the first time they've ever seen anything that flushed. 9:37 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. And I got an invitation to the Mark Seminar Series 12th installment. And when it comes to the Mark Seminar Series, I talked to the lady that's in charge of it, and that would be Arlene Steffi. Good morning, Arm.
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I want to take an opportunity to do a couple of things. First, you and wish the Mr. a happy Valentine's Day. I don't know if you celebrate it, but happy Valentine's Day anyway.
Oh, thank you very much.
And
we're always sweethearts.
That's true, isn't it? And so the other thing is this weekend, Sunday, we're going to get together and pay tribute and honor and homage to John Anderson over at Jeff's Pirates Cove. I got some details on that I'll share before the end of the show. But there's, remember a couple of days ago I said the kids, the family, are going to be looking for memories. They're going to be looking for stories about John. And between Arlene and I, we got enough to fill a couple of books. But they're also looking for pictures. So if you've got photographs of John, if you've got digital photographs of John, send them to me at 988-5874. That's 988-5874. That's the WhatsApp. So if you've got something in your phone with John, a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, a couple of decades ago, we'd love that. And I'll take them all up, and I'll batch them all up and send them to Mahi and the kids. So they've got versions of your incredible memories of John. So at 988-5874 is my WhatsApp. I'd love to get those pictures. Art, I'm sure that you've got a bunch of... Were you ever able to find that picture of John on the motorcycle?
No, I wasn't. But let me take the opportunity here, since you're announcing this. In the last 2 weeks of John's life, that I called and said, Ray, we need to go up and see John. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty difficult for you. You said, this is tough. He's like a father to me. And that's true with a lot of us that grew up in the media with John. As you know, I met him in 1978, joining the sales department at KOAM. And then, in many ways, that man pushed my career to where it was. I never, dreamt that I would have achieved so much. But every time he needed something done, Art, could you do this? And of course, I had no idea what I was doing, but I said I'd try. and as a result, he broadened my mass communication specialty to the point where I went from sales to video, and that was incredible, including Bobby and I owning an advertising agency. But in the last 3 weeks of his life, I was hardly ever not at the hospital. And that was very tough. But, you know, he's in God's hands. But Mahi and the family needed moral support. And during the time that I was there with them, watching John, succumb, it dawned on me that many of us, I think, would want the opportunity to share just how deeply moved and touched we all were by this man who, as J.Q. Finney wrote, hated the business part of radio but loved radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked permission, and I know that you know this because I've shared it with you. I think you were the first one I shared it with. I asked permission if I could do a tribute to John. And Darren and Debbie and Mahi was just delighted with that idea. And so after John is laid to rest, I will begin to collect the memories of all our colleagues in the media that were with us from 70s to the 90s when John was actively on the radio. And then they told me to take my time. They didn't want it. You know, at first I thought maybe we would do it for the send-off, for the memorial, but Darren asked that I not do that. He said, could you take your time doing this so that one reason everyone would be included, and then secondly, not only that they would be included, but they would have time to think about, about how their father impacted them, or what just the different memories that are available. And I want you to know that the reason I offered this is that in all my trips to the CNMI, John and I first traveled to the CNMI together on Roger Slater's Cessna. I flew up there with him when, you remember the time when he was going up to do the news?
Did the news, did a talk show up there.
Okay, well, I was invited along to come on one of those flights. We dropped John off. I think we had a meal there, and then Roger and I headed back home. And I actually wrote about that in my Pacific Sunday News column when I started writing for the Pacific Sunday News. So,
God, you know what? You just triggered another memory. I mean, just the thousands of them that I've got with John, and I'd gone up for something. I was doing something with Power 99 and the stations up in Saipan, and John was up there working with the other John Baldwin, and as we found, we hadn't seen each other in a little bit because he had that Saipan exile, and so he says, "Oh my God, it's a friend from Guam. Let's go eat." And so we had lunch at the revolving restaurant where the TV station was, and a great lunch. We talked politics. We talked about Barack Obama, the possibility that he might become the first African American president of the United States of America. I thought, and what an interesting day that was. But see now, like I said, it's going to be tricky for a lot of people because there are for a lot of us those moments where it was just life. And it was just a staple in our lives. So, I will think about different things that just like that will just random memories that will pop into my head of good times with John.
Well, and I wouldn't work so hard at that because the thing about oral history is that memory triggers memory as you just experienced. And so in the course of a discussion, something will trigger another memory, and that is one reason that Darren said, please take your time. Because we, not that we want to document everything, but there are moments that are precious to us of those who survived John. And that's what Darren and his family want. And so I promised them that I would do that. But during those trips up there, Ray, I sat down with John numerous times, including when he first came back to Guam and collected his oral history. So I have hours of John Anderson that were post-radio times. He never saw any value in recording the news at KOAM. He never saw any value in recording his radio show.
The videotape was expensive.
Well, maybe, but he really just didn't think that they were worth recording. And I said, are you kidding me? So, I have the investigative reports that I released in his show. I have some of that. But I'm very happy that you're recording yours, and I hope that you continue to do that, because there's a lot that happens on a daily show that, you know, you might not think important, but in the long run, it will be very.
I'm hoping that there'll be some things in there that my kids will look back on and say that was a good time. That was
exactly.
Pop was in his element.
Yeah. So anyway, having said that, you know, please start to write some notes down, and then, like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because as soon as we start rolling the tape on it, it will come back. And even if it doesn't, I can, you know, I'm not opposed to going back again and recapturing something that you might remember. So don't worry about it.
All right, it'll be fun. Now let's get to talking about the Mark Seminar Series.
Yes. So next Tuesday, we're going to have Joni Kerr, who is going to talk to us about ecology, about marine chemical ecology. And, you know, she's a biologist, and I know she's your prima.
Yeah.
And so Joni invited me one Sunday to Mauricio to sit with friends of hers who are also maybe borderline tree huggers, but they really are very, very committed and interested in the development of this island and what that impact has, not only for the land, but also for the ocean around us. And I have to tell you that, you know, I've always been very cautious of a lot of the activities, because I'm a real supporter and believer that private property rights need to be respected. And when you start having governments start to tell people what they can and can't do in their lands, that kind of impinges on private property ownership.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I went down. I like Joni a lot. Her husband and I are colleagues, and I love Alex. Alex has just got such a brilliant mind. But I discovered that Joni does too, and I was very taken by her determination and her drive toward protecting Guam's ecology. And when I started looking up things on Joni Kerr, I thought, wow, this baby doll has some science in her.
Oh, that's a sharp girl. Kind of a running buddy of mine, among other things, a running buddy. And she's one of the people, even before Pam, not Pam, but what's that? Oh, the lady now is going to slip out of my head. But I knew her from all the different running club events, and as soon as things started getting cleaned up, she'd be walking around and picking up trash with her bare hands. And I thought, wow, this is, you know, there's a level of commitment here.
She's heavy on recycling.
Yeah.
Heavy on recycling. And, you know, she doesn't preach to you. She doesn't bang your head if you don't do it. But she sets the example by her own actions. And that's very important. And so Joni Kerr is going to be our next speaker, the 12th installment at the Mark Seminar Series. And that will be next Tuesday, the 19th at 6:30 p.m. So if you care about the ecology, if you're a developer and you would like to see the perspective of someone who's using science as a way to find the natural balance in development and in preserving everything that we have that's a resource, I think this is a lecture you're going to want to attend.
All right, so it's going to be, as usual, it's going to be at the class lecture hall. The fun starts at like 6 o'clock, and then the speech starts going at 6:30.
6:30.
6:30, and so everything is going to be on YouTube and the Guam Legislative channel, and preserved for posterity. And Joni's cool, so you know even afterwards you'll have a chance to ask some questions and get some one-on-one time.
Well, there will always be a question and answer, and she has 1 hour, but she doesn't have to use her hour. We find that most of the speakers take about an hour to deliver, you know, their thoughts. They have a PowerPoint presentation, and they do a very good job. And then once we edit that, we're a little behind. I've been sick. I don't know about you, but I've been really sick for 3 weeks with this terrible cough and congestion.
Oh, keep it on that side. I'm training for a marathon, and I need every run. I cannot. I've got to be on the road 4 days a week. So keep it to yourself.
I will not come near you.
Thank you.
Accomplish that goal.
All right, I'm going to be walking around with hand sanitizer at John's thing on Sunday. Hey, listen, I want to spend a little bit of time that I've got left on the air talking about that. So I'm going to let you run and invite everybody again to watch Joni next Tuesday at the class lecture hall at the University of Guam. Get there at 6.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mara. I'll see you this weekend. And they're all free. All those programs are free. 9:49 in the morning. So I was talking about Tequila, like I know the place. And Rochelle sends me a thing on the Facebook, says that it's the #1 deadliest city in the world. Really? It is? Hold on a second. There's and a story in the Seattle Globalist, is Tequila really the most dangerous city in America? So I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs of this while you listen to the break. I'll be right back.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
Here at Make-A-Wish, our Wish kids wish for all kinds of things. A lot of them involve traveling to faraway places. On Monday, February 18th from 6 until 10, we'll be holding an airlines mileage drive with me, Ray Gibson, on 93.3 The Point, to help us grant these travel wishes. So if you've got spare airline miles, you can donate them without any transfer fees. Your donation will go a long way, and so will our Wish kids.
All right. So basically, the information comes from FBI reports, though submissions are voluntary and they don't look at cities with fewer than 10,000 residents. Tequila city officials have disputed the report that says that they are the murder capital, the most violent city in America. Because that's what the article says. Based on FBI data tracking, the number of reported violent crimes, that is aggravated assault, murder, rape, robbery, and property crimes, that's burglary, arson, larceny, theft, and motor vehicle theft in each city adjusted per capita. And the guy says you got to be careful whenever you're using per capita information, because there's and especially in some place like Tequila, I can't remember how to pronounce it, where you've got a population that they've got where it's 20,000 people live there, actually live there, but you got, I don't know, 100,000 that come in for all of the different manufacturing jobs, and then they split by the end of the day. At any rate, so so the number one source for the company, the people that are pushing this idea and making a big deal about the report, is apparently called a company called Safewise. You know what business they're in? Alarm systems. so yeah, they're going to come out and say, this is a dangerous town. You need an alarm system. It'd be like put one of those things in, because a lot of people, and I suppose per capita, the number one most broken into place on Guam might be, places like Barragata Heights, where they've got a very active neighborhood watch patrol, and active because not that they're always out looking, it's just that they're always seeing. There's a lot for them to report to each other. And so maybe there's some of that. Maybe it's just it's not like that. It's the worst. It's the one that we hear about the most. 9:53 in the morning, and I promised that I was going to talk about this, and I just need to call up a portion on the Facebook to do this. Again, my WhatsApp number, and if you send me pictures of John Anderson from whenever, 988-5874, I'll make sure that they get to the family. Cosendo, a little bit earlier on Facebook, had posted, and I think I've got another copy of it that I can share with you, which is it posted a deal with basically the shot clock, if you will, on all of the activities that are going to be taking place at Pirates Cove on Sunday. And if you give me 1 second, I'll be able to call this up and give you just a little bit of it so that you've got an idea of what's going to be happening. John and the family will be arriving about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be nice. Trey Cunningham, Shannon McManus, and Patrick Palomo play some music on the way in. Slideshow, which is why they need photographs. If you've got many of them, send them again, 988-5874. There'll be an opening prayer, food service, and a blessing of the table. And then conversation. There'll be a resolution presentation by John's former employee, Clint Rigel. I think that's the way it works, if I remember the different times he'd been in and out, and a variety of speakers that will get up and share their memories, thoughts, and pay tribute to the wonderful life that John Anderson had for him and his families here on Guam. So that's what's going to be happening. And I'm curious about this part. It says 3:30. Mike Powell is the closer. Oh, really? You don't know Mike Powell. So I brought Mike Powell to Guam, I don't know, 92, 93. And he did the morning show for me at the radio station. Eventually went on to do talk radio in the afternoons, known as Mike with 3 letters. And I knew that he was, we're all close, right? But I didn't know that he was going to be coming back out. So is this live, or will it be a closer and video from Mike with 3 letters? I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to find out on Sunday. So again, starting about 1, and as these things usually go, over at Pirates Cove, we'll be there until they run out of food and drink, and I think that's the way John would want it. And you know, it's one of those. It's kind of one of those magical things that happens whenever somebody, I don't know, the media types. We did Joe Cunningham, Totes graduation at Pirates Cove, and every once in a while somebody will say, "Ray, if something happens to you, you want to do a Pirates Cove as well?" And you know, I don't know about that. You know, because I'd kind of like to be there at my own funeral, my own memorial. I don't want to miss that. You know what I mean? No, you don't know what I mean.
No,
no concept whatsoever. I'm sorry. No, just I don't want to miss that, because it sounds like it's good. You know, in my mind, I got this great party lined up, and it would just bug me to pieces if it was a party that they threw for me and I wasn't, there to enjoy myself. I'm not talking about guys tipping 40s at the grave either. I'm talking about I want to be there. I'm going to be kicking back. And there's a story, isn't it, Ripley's Believe It or Not, where they've got this guy at one of the museums where it's that was his last wish. So when they did his body, they did the embalming and everything, but they didn't stuff him in a coffin. They dressed him up and they sat him down in a chair,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that way he could be at his own funeral.
Yep.
That's what I want to do. All right, we'll work out the technology between now and then to do all of that stuff. So what were we able to get to? I wasn't able to spend a whole lot of time talking about the casino thing, as much as just I'm watching the layers of people lining up against casino gambling. And right now, what have we got? Was it the guys at was it the Post? Did they have an editorial about that recently? I think they did. And now we got a letter from the Archdiocese of Agana that says that the church's stance is the same today, except to more strongly urge that in addition to casino gaming at the carnival, we encourage local authorities and everyone in our community in general to make an honest examination of other forms of highly addicted gambling locally and their propensity to harm people.
It should be noted that both newspapers, as well as the church, want us to have no fun at all.
We need to. So that's another thing. Maybe I'll work on here is maybe as I examined my role as some kind of a media mogul type guy around here, somebody with that kind of responsibility and perhaps a minor level of influence, and maybe that's what this show needs to be, is the anti-party pooper program. I'm going to be the opposite of the killjoy. I don't know what the word is for that, but I want it to be the place where people can go and say, you know what, I want to gamble, and I don't care what the church says. I don't care what sister says. I want to be, and I don't want anybody lecturing me. I don't want anybody pointing a finger at me and telling me I'm doing it wrong. If I'm not hurting anybody, what's the problem? Yeah, so you want a weekend at Bernie's type. Yeah, send. What are you saying, Kaz? I'll take a look at that at the end of it.
Party animal, celebrator, jest. Those are antonyms for killjoy.
Party animal, jest.
Jest.
Like jester? Like court,
surely you jest.
Like a court jester?
Yeah, kind of that too. Yeah.
Am I funny to you? We'll see what happens. Anyway, a couple of minutes away from the top of the hour. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number here at the radio station. You're more than welcome to hang out and see what's going on with the Facebook Live anytime you like to. And for those of you that are watching on the Facebook Live and saying, Gibson, you were just brilliant today. Where can I watch this again? I can't wait until tomorrow. I'd like to catch up on that brilliance. I'd like to relive that brilliant moment. Go to YouTube Live. YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Ray Gibson Show, and you'll be able to find something. And on where are we? If we're doing Facebook Live, at the end of this, when I click the Stop Stream button, it will become a video on demand, so you'll be able to see all of that as well. Hey, look, that's all the time that we've got for you today. Where did you get this department store music? Nice. All right. Almost Sex in the City, right? Okay, that's why it rings familiar. 10 seconds to tell you that we're KUSG Agana. Happy Valentine's to you. For those of you wondering if I've got a Valentine's date, yes, I do, and her name is Mayumi. I'm taking my daughter out for Valentine's tonight. Won't that be special? I'll give you a full report tomorrow. We're KUSG Agana. Here's Fox News.
Fox News alert. He made false statements. I'm Lisa Lacera. Plea agreement voided. A federal judge ruling Paul Manafort, President Trump's former campaign chairman, lied to special counsel Robert Mueller. Judge Amy Berman Jackson said that Manafort intentionally made multiple false statements to the FBI, the Office of the Special Counsel, and the grand jury concerning matters that were material to the investigation. The issue was the subject of a closed-door hearing Wednesday afternoon. The House taking action, forcing the Trump administration to end U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen.
A resolution calling for the U.S. military to stop supporting Saudi Arabia's led war in Yemen without congressional approval cleared the House.